Hello. Welcome to Adrift in Aldhalor, our weekly actual play show set in our homebrew world of Aradun. Our music is licensed, as always, through musicbed.com, and our sounds, Ambience, are occasionally Syrinscape and occasionally TabletopAudio. I'm going to bring Shannon on to talk real quick about our partners, and then we're just going to jump right into it tonight.
Let's do it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Paradice. Happy to have you wherever you are watching. Thank you, Clayton. I'm recording now. Yeah, Audacity, everybody. Whoops.
Yes, excuse. Yes.
And you know what's funny? Right before we went live, I thought about it. I was like, I'm gonna say, go live or record like I usually do. And then I did.
You got there. You got it in time.
We did. That's true.
This part's not in the edited pod.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, here we go. We're going to talk about our partners, the people that make Paradice Paradise, starting with Arcane Spectacles. Enhance your TTRPG and D&D games with Arcane Spectacles dice sets made in collaboration with Die Hard Dice. With a variety of set colors, you can elevate your gaming experience to your liking. Don't settle for ordinary dice when you can have top quality sets from Arcane Spectacles and Die Hard Dice. Roll the dice and upgrade your gaming gear today. Visit them at arcanespectacles.com to check out their dice and all their other awesome products. Next, we have Underground Oracle Publishing. They are a best-selling, Emmy-nominated TTRPG publisher building new and exciting settings for the cipher system of every genre you can imagine. Each set includes everything that you need to explore its unique worlds, including lore, species, descriptors, foci, creatures, ciphers, artifacts, and all of the rules that you need to play. Their current focus is Harrow the Blighted Plain, a crystal punk fantasy setting filled with fungal oases, massive sand seas, and long-buried magitech. For as little as $3, you can join their Patreon and help shape Harrow in each of the worlds that they create. Their next focus is going to be Wild Space. And I remember, Sean, you talked about that last week. What's Wild Space?
It's their new
their new setting, right?
It's their new sci-fi setting.
Is it going to be Kickstarter as well?
That I'm not sure if there's going to be a Kickstarter for it. I know that they did do some community sort of like community crowd sourcing for like some of the material. Like I think the community had an input on what species they were adding to the game, whatnot. From what I could see, it's all kind of like animal people. Cool. Kind of like a full Rocket Raccoon cast kind of situation.
Very cool. So if you are not already a part of their community, go join their community and help shape future worlds they create. Next, we have Eddie Yorke. He is our character artist. He is an illustrator based in the UK who makes art for games and books. To visit his portfolio and get in contact with him, visit eyorke.com. Last but certainly not least, we have 1985 Games. They create affordable, accessible, high-quality accessories for D&D and other tabletop role-playing games. Sean uses their NPC cards. They're fabulous. We have so many amazing NPCs in our game thanks to these cards and Sean's brilliant imagination. So if you would like to purchase those cards or anything else that they have, go ahead and enter the code Paradice. Paradice Prod for 10% off your entire order. Last couple of things here before we jump on into the story. We have recaps on our Discord. So if you missed last session or any of our previous sessions, you can quickly catch up by reading the recaps that Sean writes and posts for us in our Discord. I gotta add this now. We are on the Blue Sky app thing as of last week or over the weekend, whenever it was. So find us. I haven't updated the command yet, but I'm gonna do that. So follow us in other places, such as Blue Sky, Twitch, Twitter, X, YouTube, Discord, Instagram, and TikTok. That's it. All done.
You did
Let's play. I did it.
Oh, okay. What are we playing?
What's that?
I don't know.
What are we playing? I don't know.
Let me tell you. All right, let's jump right into our recap. And, oops. Alrighty. Last we met, our heroes journeyed back to Hyven from Billowgrass. They awoke in the Crossroads Tavern, known as the
Sean, you need to put
Coyote.
everybody else on screen.
Nope, it's just me and you. I knew I was
We
forgetting
don't
something.
matter.
By the way, just a reminder, Alex and Mike are not with us tonight. They're off in finishing up their vacation in Ireland. They'll be joining us in our next episode, which will not be next week, but the weekend.
Thanks for the reminder, Sean.
You got you. You betcha. I got you. All right. Where's that recap? I lost it. Going swimmingly. Last we met, our heroes journeyed back to Hyven from Billowgrass. They awoke in the Crossroads Tavern known as the Coyote and Badger, 4 days from Hyven. Over breakfast, Fyrn expressed concerns with the fate of the large elemental crystal they recovered from the bandit hideout. These bandits had done so much harm to Billowgrass with the gem. He feared that more powerful hands might do with it. He feared what more powerful hands might do with it. Even Sigil the librarian might not be trustworthy enough to control such power. And ought such a force be free from such a prison? He admitted to seeing a face within the gem, humanoid in shape, like an old man. But the party assured him they would consider all their options upon arriving in Hyven. The quiet autumn road lulled them into the doldrums of travel, but a draconic screech broke the tranquility. In the field of crops, a trio of farmers chased a wild copper wyvern carrying a horse off the ground. The party engaged as Fyrn straddled up to face the beast. A dissonant whisper from Jaquet sent the wyvern flying away, but it turned for a diving strike of flaming breath that knocked Sass out while scorching the others. Septimus and Bruce leapt to help the farmers put out the now blazing crops. Jaquet fed Sass a healing potion while Fyrn fought the wyvern up close. It grew bloody, and the wyvern attempted to grab the now dead horse and fly away. Jaquet jumped up and over Fyrn to attempt a shot, but missed and landed in the burning field. Fyrn attempted to shield him, but the wyvern chose to cover its retreat with fire. Crackling heat erupted around them, leaving Jaquet laying there lifeless. Desperate to save their friend and facing an emboldened wyvern, Fyrn took out the elemental gem and shattered it with his sword, piercing it into the ground below as white light flashed and a storm raged. Somewhere in his death throes, perhaps in his mind even, Jaquet found himself dreaming he was still on the raft stranded in the sea. But now, fire engulfed the waters and a ship made of bones slowly stalked behind the raft. His only escape seemed to be a far-off lush green island where he could hear the sounds of a fiddle playing. He paddled and paddled, but could not reach it. And as the bone ship stalked closer, a white light flashed. High in the sky, he saw a face in the stormy cloud. The same face Fyrn saw in the gem, and the same face the villagers dreamed of in Billowgrass. Eyeless, the old man in the sky. A powerful, perhaps even divine, storm spirit. The storm wrecked the raft, but put out the fires. The bone ship disappeared as Jaquet began to sink into the ocean. And as that inky darkness took him, he saw his weighted dice floating with him down in the water. And as he seized them, he awoke. Fyrn and Sass looked up to see the same face in the storm above, as well as the shriveled husk that was once the wyvern. They rushed to Jaquet's side, and to their joy, he awoke. The farmers let the party stay with them as the storm subsided. Fyrn shared his fear of such a powerful spirit with Sass, and a fear at what they owe to the spirits influencing their lives. They tended to Jaquet. The party left the next morning, seeing the destruction across the crops from Eyeless's rage and storming, perhaps an additional cost for Jaquet's life, or perhaps the wiles of an elemental spirit. Once in Hyven, the party checked into the Cask and Crow and enjoyed some much-needed rest, including bubble baths for, well, there were no bubbles. Well, there were classy bubbles for Jaquet and Sass, as they enjoyed some finer food, including chocolate for Sass and oysters for Jaquet. In the afternoon, Sass, with Jaquet and Fyrn, went to speak with her patron. While the two stayed on the beach, watching somewhat unimpressed, Sass swam out to the deeper parts of the water. She looked out into the sea and saw swimming in the distance, in the dark, a large whale that for a moment she believed to be her patron, until the seagrass at her feet crept up and hugged her body, and then formed a silhouette of a woman, this being her patron. She asked if the patron stole her name, but all she said was it was freely given by Sass. Sass began to complain a bit at this, questioning the patron. It was in this moment that the seaweed grasped her cheek and formed into a true flesh and scale and clawed hand. And the entity threatened Sass. She did not do as she was told, and there would be greater consequences for her. And then she scratched her cheek with barnacled claws. Sass returned to the beach, and as she usually does, cryptically told her friend that everything was fine. And then the party decided to move onward to the Otter Business for fight night. But first they needed to stop at Oren's bar to settle an arrangement between him and Jaquet to be a house bard for the tavern. After that, the party left for the Otter Business, and in that moment also noticed an old pickpocket that had plagued Saskia in the past. They roughhoused the guy, got 2 of the silver she lost back. Probably more valuable was just the nice coin purse that she got back. But after intimidating the man, Jaquet did, as he usually does, offer the pickpocket work. And as the man walked away, confused at being intimidated and offered a job, the party left and began towards the Widow's Ward, which is where we left off. So you are walking down Main Street at this point. It is it's around dinner time. Main Street itself has plenty of folks moving to and fro. Wednesdays tend to be a rather busy day. A lot of folk out getting things done. For some people, it's the start of the weekend, depending on their shifts at the docks. And for others, they just need to prepare for their journeys. Or the people are gathering and heading towards the Widow's Ward for the exciting fight night at the Otter Business, where pugilists alike all compete for the gold and silver of the city. And if they're lucky, they will find a night where the Death Ring is played. Though that hasn't happened since our party rigged a Death Ring match. So you are about to enter into the crass alley area, the sketchy alley that leads to the Widow's Ward. Is there anything you'd like to do before entering the Widow's Ward? Or is there anything just that you would like to do in general? You're muted.
Jaquet, why do you keep trying to hire people that I want to beat up?
Well, you see them as a threat. I see them as a potential ally. I like to think that you're like a indicator, if you will. An indicator of someone that you don't like is someone I probably will, so.
All I'm saying is, there's a lot of thieves in this town. You don't have to pick the ones that have directly done harm to us.
Well, they're the ones I know.
So, we can be thieves too. We don't have to recruit others.
Right. You're not wrong. However, it's also good to have, what's the word I'm looking for? Patsies? Someone that can take the fall for you, or someone when you're busy with something else, like say we're out of town, but we really gotta meet this deadline. So we have that fucker go off and do whatever we need to.
What's your goal here? Why do you keep collecting people? Are you planning on, I don't know, forming your own thing? Or is this something that you do in every town that you go to? You just collect people to do work for you? I'm just, no judgment, I'm just curious.
No, that's a fair question. I have yet to look too far in the future. Whether I will start a gang is what I think you're referring to, or maybe a guild of sorts for underhanded individuals. I'm not sure, but I'm always drawn back to our discussion, you recall, with Winifred down at the docks.
Right.
She said if we were to take on Mr. Greaves, Jaquet says, lowering his voice, that we will need friends.
Right. Speaking of Winifred, do you think we should maybe talk to her and see if she's I don't know if you really care, but maybe Fyrn does about anything about that ship.
Remember, last we saw Winifred, she told us to never come by her office again.
Right. Well, isn't this opportune? Why don't we have the fuck's his name? The
pickpocket.
Either one of your what did you call them? That one.
My patsies.
Why don't we have him set up a meeting for us?
Winifred is a very important friend to have. She controls the docks, the harbor. She knows everything that goes on. If she tells us to stay away, we stay away.
But that's what... I'm not saying we go there. I say we...
No, I understand.
So then what was that all about? I'm sorry, did I interrupt you? Keep going.
I think it was more the, how do they say? The royal we, in a way. We, as in our party, the things that we do, she wants us to keep away. She said that if she has information for us, she would leave it at the Harlequin and Chalice, and I trust her. Should anything come up, I know that it will come across our way. Until then, I assume nothing has happened. I assume that the Bone Rattler, which is what I think you were talking about, has gone on its way. And if we hear differently, then maybe we know Winifred is not as close of a friend as we thought. Which is also important to know. Have you ever played chess, Saskia?
Can't say that I have.
You're familiar with the game, though, yes?
Yes.
It's a game about pawns and knights, bishops and kings. And knowing... And queens, and rooks. If we're gonna name all the pieces, I was just,
Didn't want you to leave out the queens.
What about the little horsies?
Those are knights. I said that already. Every piece has a part to play, but you don't always know what pieces are in play at all times. That's not true.
Wait, you're allowed to hide the pieces?
Well, if we're using chess as like a very loose metaphor here, my point being is that we don't always have all the knowledge that we want to have.
But it's there.
Sure. And the last thing we need to do is make either an enemy of Winifred or push her to give information about us to someone else. I have, in the past, since coming here, made a number of mistakes in how I have conducted myself. And I am seeking to rectify those and moving forward, not to repeat them.
Impressive.
Oh, that's very big of you.
Right? Right?
Well, in the same regard, I suppose I'm trying to do this whole advertisement thing. I don't know if the Harlequin and Chalice's board is enough for, the people to hear about our names. But I think I'm doing pretty well in the fight night. If I keep winning, we might be able to have a conversation with the people up in the VIP section, and maybe they'll have some work for us, or perhaps we could find some new opportunities there.
I completely
That's an idea.
agree. I think your renown down here will do our party a bit of good in getting the name out.
I agree.
People see you fight, Fyrn, and they're gonna want to hire you. Oh, trust me. That's what made me want to hire you. I mean, I didn't. I just joined up with you. But if I had to, I would hire you. So take that as a compliment.
If anything, I hired you, so...
Well, it's more like we were all stuck together in an unfortunate circumstance that has bonded us irreparably, even though I don't like it.
Sure you do.
Oh, look, we're almost there.
So yes, you head through the alleyway. You enter into Crass Alley, where it's probably not as wise to be speaking so loudly. And you see the typical busyness here of folk pushing through it, either trying to leave the Widow's Ward before the sun sets because they don't want to be there, or trying to get into the Widow's Ward by the time the sun sets so that they don't have to be on the streets. And folk who are completing their business. Jaquet, you would notice some of the same things that you've noticed in the past, particularly that one alleyway that leads down to an area where you know there to be illicit goods sold. You would actually notice there is a rather hefty wagon squeezing into that alley right now. That you can see on the back of that wagon is a wet blanket over a bunch of very large fish. Particularly, you notice these are not like just a catch of the day. These are like sharks that are being brought into that alleyway. But you pass that, there's really only within Crass Alley itself, you have the shops on the left and right. Some of them that are just pretty legitimate shops. Others you might think might have other reasons for being in this alley. But then there's two tighter alleys that you go down within this. That one of them you know to be the place where you saw the thieves' camp for the illicit goods, and the other one you're not quite sure what's in there. But at the end of the alley, it opens up to the Widow's Ward itself. That you see the familiar crossroad here, or not crossroad, the familiar fork in the road that kind of hugs around the Otter Business. One of these roads leading up to the left, where at the end of that street is the Piscator's Row, and then up to the right, it ends with the rocks of the Lighthouse District. But nestled in the center of the Widow's Ward is this crowning jewel, modulated, makeshift, very unsafely built tavern. Which, immediately upon entering, you would notice that there is construction going on. They seem to be adding more to the Otter Business. They seem to be building a side room off of the back area, sort of almost like a smaller version of the Widow's Ward, with half of its butt leaning off of the cliff and half of it on the cliff. But there is some kind of construction going on. It actually seems as though the area might be a little bit less busy due to this construction. So there are less folk hanging out outside of the Widow's or outside of the Otter Business. But all the same, you would notice there is a bouncer there. It is not the female Goliath that you have noticed in the past. It is a different bouncer. You can see it is a it looks to be an orcish fellow who is just sort of leaning a little more casually than the Goliath bouncer, who was very into her work of checking people and whatnot. This guy seems like he's more hanging with the ruffians that always hang out front, as opposed to the old bouncer who kind of kept them in line. So he's just sort of leaning against the wall by the door and very casually lifting his head to look at the person and quickly directing them inside.
As we're approaching the door, I'm just keeping in line with everybody, but just kind of like touching the scratch on my cheek and checking to see if it's still bleeding. And
it's not bleeding, but it feels very warm.
That's not good.
And even Jaquet and Fyrn can look, and it doesn't look like it's. I mean, it's only been a couple hours, but it doesn't look like a healthy wound.
Does it look infected, Sean?
It's got red streaks coming off of it.
Jaquet will even say, looking at her, goes, "You shouldn't pick at that. It'll only get worse."
Does it look bad? Does it look?
It's disgusting.
Oh, fuck.
I guess sea rocks will do that to you, he says, clearly sarcastically.
Yeah,
meaning not sea rocks.
It was a nasty rock. Quite very
Sure.
nasty. Fuck. All right.
At least put something on it.
Nah, it looks cool. You look hard.
No,
Still,
she
though, I
looks
feel
like she
I
doesn't
should-
know
I
how
should-
to keep care of herself. Take care of herself.
I know how to fucking take care of myself.
Well, then see to your wounds. Jaquet says this a little loudly.
Is there anybody any super drunk people around that have a scarf or like a hood or something that I could try and
It's too early for there to be wasted
Okay.
folks all around.
It
you.
is
You're-
never too early for drunk people outside a bar in a sketchy avenue.
I mean, nothing that is like accessible to you. There are plenty of people with scarves and whatnot, but they don't really look like easily
not there.
swipeable.
All right. Well, just for your reference, then I'm going to keep an eye out for something easily swipeable throughout the night.
And as she turns, Jaquet has a handkerchief offered to her.
Thanks. The fuck am I supposed to do with this? Just wear it on my face like this? Just walk around with my head tilted?
I tried to do something nice.
No, I'm very appreciative. I am.
You
I
sound
am.
it. So appreciative.
And I'll
How
just.
early are we, Sean?
I mean, it's probably, I said it's a little after dinner time, so it's like 6:30, 7 p.m. So a little early. I mean, fight night typically starts pretty late. Not like 10 o'clock late, but you're probably like an hour and a half early.
Yeah, the neighborhood has really gone downhill since we were last here.
I would say the construction is a sign of good things to come.
Well, then where is everyone?
Inside.
I guess we'll see. I'm gonna head up to the new bouncer.
Okay. So when you head up, unlike previous nights, there's which granted you've the last time you were here it was I don't believe it was fight night. You were just doing your walk of shame.
No, was it a Fyrn
or was
fought?
it? Oh, Fyrn did fight. You're right. He fought the
Yeah.
he fought the monk. So there's not the typical line. Like last time you went, you had to wait in line. This time you come in and the bouncer immediately sees you and just kind of eyes all three of you up and down. And before you even get close enough to say anything, he just nods his head inside. There ain't more.
Thank you very much.
What happened to the old bouncer?
Ooh. Ooh.
The Goliath lady? Stern?
Oh, Odwin. Odwin. Yeah. She's fighting tonight.
Odwin's fighting tonight?
Oh, Fyrn.
Think that would turn up a bit more of a crowd.
I did tell her that I was looking for her in the ring. Maybe she'd finally listen.
You see the orcish fellow looks at you, Jaquet, when you say you'd think that would bring more of a crowd. And he looks and he says, people are a little bit more scared these days. Few too many murders happening these days. But boss had Odwin come in, hoping it would bring more life back. Been a quiet week.
You say there's been more murders?
Well, you got a reporter wandering around asking questions about a LaRue figure. Said they killed Captain Hastings. I didn't know who the fucker was, but apparently a lot of people know who he is. And of course, you got the murders nearby in the Temple District.
There've been more.
No, those are just some fairly high-profile murders. Only been it's rare that the murders make it to the paper that come with the widow's ward.
I thought this was a den of vile scum and villainy.
I love that
You'd
book.
think that people would just be, okay
People
with this
like
sort of thing.
blood, sweat, and tears when they're contained within a cage. Otherwise, they just like drinking and money.
Jaquet kind of pauses and goes, "Wow, that's very insightful for a bar bouncer."
Well, I dabble in bit of writing. Submitted a few op-eds to the Ivan Times. None of them have been published, but it's because
You looking for a new job?
Well, the writers are from out of town, and sorry.
Hey man, we went over to the newspaper. They didn't seem that smart. You might be able to get a job over there if you apply yourself.
Yeah, I you know what? I would like one of you to give me persuasion roll with advantage. I think I know who. But,
Yeah, Fyrn.
But
Oh, I was gonna say, Jaquet, you could put in a good word for him, right? And I tap him on the shoulder. You're trying to make more friends, right?
Yeah, but not with this guy. I mean, he
Oh,
seems.
it's too late. You've already said nice things.
I'll see you inside, as Jaquet.
oh, my name's.
I catch his name.
He says his name is Obert.
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 Okay.
Yes, Obert the bouncer with a dream of becoming a writer. And he wasn't completely wrong. When you go inside, like, it is definitely sparser. Although, like at the same time, while there weren't a lot of people on the street, there is still a lot of people inside the Otter Business. It seems more so that people just don't want to be on the streets at night. But they don't mind being in the bar at night, getting drunk enough to not worry about the streets on their way home.
That might actually be better for business because people come in earlier.
Yeah, so
and stay later.
I mean, basically, like I'd say there's less people than the last fight night you went to, but by no means not a good night for the Otter Business, especially if these people stay long, and bet heavily. When you get inside, you would notice that there are more card games and dice games happening at tables than in the past. The last two times you came to fight night, people didn't really care that much about gambling with each other here. In the games, they cared a lot more about the fighting. But you can see a lot of folks clustered up at their tables, and I say clustered, I mean closed. Like this is like the last time you were here, everyone was very open with each other, grabbing each other, cheersing. People are kind of keeping to their friends tonight, and playing games. Their air is rife with smoke, as there's a ton of cigarettes, cigars, pipes being smoked in here that otherwise might have been smoked outside when people weren't afraid of the streets. And you notice that the fighting ring is there and is lit with the electrical lights. You notice the MC there as well. That's typically been there. And you notice the typical bartender that you've always kind of seen there around on this night.
We
but
should
they're
really
not
start remembering people's names.
You have never asked the MC their name. You never.
I
This is the
know,
first time
we
you
never
learned
did.
the Goliath's name, and you never asked the bartender's name. But I've never really been that descriptive about the bartender.
Mm.
But yes, what would you like to do? So you can see like there are tables available. There's definitely the wall space, the wall tables available. Because again, like the Otter Business has like round tables all throughout the first half of it, and then the second half, the second back, that's more hanging over the cliff edge. They don't tend to put a lot of furniture on that side, but people do stand there when they're watching the fights. And then on the up against the walls are kind of those like not waist high, but kind of like chest high tables with some high top chairs and a few sparse places. And then of course there's always kind of that upper mezzanine on the left side where you know there to be sort of a VIP section that has kind of like tapestries and silk curtains that kind of keep it fairly private, although occasionally you'll see them coming out to watch below.
I will start scanning for a table that's in view of the fighting ring, and if/when I find one, I will turn to the other two and say, I'm gonna go snag us a table, a good one, so we have a good view. Somebody get me a drink, and I'll meet you over there. Fyrn, go sign up.
Right.
I walk up to the table.
Jaquet will head to the bar.
Yep, and you notice that typical bartender there that's always been there on fight night, who's been actually pretty friendly here and there, giving you guys a few free drinks when you were kind of high betters, or for Fyrn particularly when he was at his highest, and for Sass when she was at her lowest, because he did give her a free drink that time. Just to give a quick description of him, he's the least elf-looking half-elf ever. Like you'd almost think that he was someone who just sort of like on his free time like pinched his ears a little bit to add a little bit of point before coming into work, and has just sort of like the only thing that really shouts elf about him is very indiscernible pointed ears and just sort of this very, very light glow to the color of his eyes. That's almost like a dull glow, like a really old lantern that's got a lot of dirt on it. But he's pretty much as human as a half elf can be. Very short, well-groomed hair, kind face, but nothing remarkable. It makes sense why you haven't really noticed or remembered him much. He's very much just a bartender, as far as you can tell. Hey there. Drinks? How many? How many there are you? 2 of you?
3. We have another friend.
3? Looking for heavy stuff, soft stuff, medium stuff?
We'll start medium. You know, whatever the
stuff,
special
okay.
is.
All right. That'll be medium stuff, silver each. And he starts to walk off and pour this dark looking ale. And he looks over and he's like, anything else? We got bread and butter.
No, the beers are fine, thank you.
Alrighty. Have I seen you around here before?
No, I don't think so.
So
Maybe my
recognize-
friends, though.
Yeah, you walked in with the big guy, right?
Yes, White
Eye. Yeah. Oh wow. We thought he'd left town.
Well, you know, he did for a bit. We've got work to do.
Oh, okay.
Venturing type, you know.
Oh, Oh, okay. You're a little more than just fighters and gamblers then, and I guess cheats. And he looks past you to Sass.
Well, as I heard that she made up for her past transgressions, so all water under the
Yeah.
bridge, you know?
Yeah, I've seen the two of them here a few times, but I don't. Have you been here before with them?
No, I don't usually come around. You know, I was busy with other things, you know.
Excuse me, I need to get my dice.
Was that him, or was that the bartender saying he needed to get his dice?
Go ahead and give me a deception roll. Mike, get out of here.
I like that.
Jumping
Oh,
in from
shit.
Ireland.
Yeah,
in the...
what?
He's drunk. Actually, what time is it there?
He's drunk anyway.
What'd you got in that deception? Mike, get out of here.
Ban this man.
I'm gonna have to if he does it again.
I just want to double check. Oh, that's under Bard. Where's my Bard? I think it's just 19. Deception's what I have with Yeah, persuasion, deception.
Yep, yeah, it should be
10.
Yeah.
So, sorry, that's a 19.
Cool.
Is what I'm trying to say.
All right, so there's this. You can easily notice there's this this glimmer in his eyes of slight recognition, even though it's not even like full recognition, because like the last time you were there, you had somewhat of a disguise on, I believe. So he's just sort of like, I thought. You might even surmise that he's like, I thought they had a tabaxi friend, but then it goes away.
Yeah. So the first time I was there, you know, was totally out in the open. The last time I was here, though, I disguised self on, so it wasn't.
Yes,
it was.
I'm
like
referring to. Yeah, I'm definitely referring to
Okay.
the very first time. He definitely.
Gotcha.
The last time you're here, for sure, he would not recognize you from that. You weren't even with Fyrn and Sass at that time. I think
Right.
you were more so keeping your distance. You can definitely tell he's like vaguely remembering that the rumors were that there was a tabaxi involved in the scam. But as soon as you kind of like say these last things, you can see it leave his eyes and his mind.
Yeah.
He's like, this is not worth remembering. and he just hands you the beers.
And as he's about to leave, Jaquet looks back and he goes, sorry, what's your name, friend?
Oh, my name.
Gus.
No, it's not Gus. It's close though. That was pretty close to what it is. Angus.
Delg?
Delg.
Angus, do you happen to know a Delg that works here?
Delg. Yeah. Delg. He works the off nights. I get to work I've been here the longest, so I get the fight nights because I usually get the best tips. And he kind of like as he says, get the best tips. He kind of looks at you.
And Jaquet goes, oh yeah, working so hard, just taking out ales.
Yeah. Anyway.
And then as Jaquet goes to leave, all of a sudden, you don't know how, because he's grabbed the ales with his hands, but as he turns, suddenly flipping over him, a silver coin lands on the counter.
Excellent. And as that silver coin lands there, you would hear Angus say, "Where? Yeah. Delg usually works. He's usually here on. Usually Maris and Thelens. You just kind of missed him."
You see, Jaquet pauses at the mention of these foreign words and goes, "See you soon," as he walks off.
Easy enough. And Sass and Fyrn, I imagine. Sass, where did you say you were gonna go for one of the wall tables, or
a table that has like a good view of the ring.
So you're gonna want to let me get just a quick perception check from you
Sure.
as you're scanning the room for a table.
Natural 20 for a 24.
Natural 20. Excellent. So, yeah, I mean, there's not really a... I imagine, Sass, you're, like, keeping, like, stern watch for a good table.
Yep.
You see
Just
one guy. You just see
hyper-focus.
one guy stand up from a table. Like, he's clearly, like, going to the bathroom. But his table's open.
Yep. Zoom. I'm there. And I sit
Excellent.
down and I put my feet up on the table and still kind of and using Jaquet's handkerchief to dab at my cheek and just kind of like press it there and hope that it's gonna do something, because all I've got is a lemon and I don't think that's gonna do much. Maybe disinfect, but
It'll burn for sure.
For sure.
Sass, with a nat 20 and a 24, you notice another person there. And for a moment you only barely glimpse person. And you're not even with that 24, not even quite sure it's who you thought you saw. And this is on the mezzanine.
Okay.
You see basically someone leaning against the railing of the mezzanine and then like just get up and go into the tapestry curtained area. You see they have the thing that stands out to you is small half-orcish tusks, and for a moment you think you see some black coal makeup.
All right. Cool. So they in the mezzanine.
Yeah, so you find a seat. So if you're walking into the bar and looking forward,
Yep.
you know, about 25 feet in is where you found your table, and then like towards the right side of the bar. And it's like as you're sitting down, like I imagine you even like grab the guy's drink that he left there, and like take a chug of it, and you kind of just like looking around, like I'm totally supposed to be here, and you notice the person up on the mezzanine. They're the only person on the mezzanine, which is on the left side of the bar, basically directly across from where you sat down. And you just notice they're hooded, but you can make out some tusks, like a half orc, and you notice the black coal makeup on their face. And then they turn around. You don't know if they didn't necessarily look at you. You didn't like make eye contact. You just happen to notice them. They turn around and walk into the curtains of the room, because the mezzanine is a balcony that's on the left side of the bar, but beyond the balcony there's also a private room up there that's behind these silk curtains. And they walk in, and there's like light coming from those silk curtains. Like there's very limited like electrical light in the main tavern. They mostly just have it kind of above the fighting ring for a light there, but you can clearly see that there's like light that's not torchlight coming from that room. Like that's the VIP room. You've all known it's kind of been the VIP room this whole time. There are these kind of like violet and pink and red curtains, and they're made of silk, so they have this really nice cascading light coming out that kind of leaves the ceiling area kind of this reddish violet hue that kind of contrasts with the like really dank lower floor where the fighting happens.
Okay. So Jaquet, were you coming over to the table?
Yes.
Okay. So as you walk up, you'll see I'm sitting, like I have this cup that in my hand, and I'm staring up at it, just very like I'm transfixed, the wheels are turning in my brain, and I'm trying to figure out if I actually saw what I saw, or if not, I'm just staring at this mezzanine.
Sliding a tankard over to Sass, Jaquet says, self-care is not drinking someone else's dregs, but getting a drink of your own. What are you doing?
It was right there. I watched it. I saw someone go in there, and I think I recognized them.
Okay, we've been here a few times, right?
No.
Seen people.
Like, fuck. Yeah, thank you, by the way.
He holds out his hand.
No.
Ungrateful.
The person, Jaquet, they looked like they had tusks and coal makeup, and it just, they're in that room up there. And now I'm trying to figure out how to get up there, because I'm definitely not welcome. So I'm trying
Okay,
to think of...
let's
I'm
backtrack.
trying to-
Tusks, coal makeup. Who the
Yes.
fuck are you talking about? Is that someone I should know?
Isn't it...
If you'll recall, Jaquet stayed hidden the entire time, so he didn't really get that good of a look.
Okay.
Fyrn, where are you during this?
Yeah.
Fyrn is just chilling near the bookie, or who he calls the bookie.
You know, bookie's appropriate. They're
I just say bookie every time.
Yeah, I mean, where you're standing near the bookie, like, you can tell, like, he's clearly, like, writing down some notes, counting some coin. He has a big cup of booze. Like, he's like, he seems to be he didn't seem to be drinking the last times you were here. He seems to be a little more stressed looking than he has in the past. And you wouldn't be that far, truthfully, from where Sass and Jaquet are sitting, because they're in the front row of tables. They're at the middle of the bar, and the bookie is in the back right of the bar from the entrance. So they're probably like 15 feet away from you. So you might even hear Sass kind of like talking crazy Sass voice. But the bookie seems to be pretty busy right now, and kind of not paying attention to you right now. At least they've taken notice of you. Like, you see, like, as you hear Jaquet and Sass bickering, the bookie looks to you and kind of gives you like a little like finger to be like, hold on, like, I'll get to you in a moment.
Right. Fyrn's kind of just like waiting online, seeing that Saskia is a little concerned, but he's just like eyeballing the other fighters that he can see around. Hopefully, I don't know if he sees any, names or faces that he's seen before.
So Fyrn, you would actually, what would draw your attention while you're sitting there waiting, and he does that, is that right behind you, kind of like right behind where you're standing against the wall, there's like basically a tarp set up at an opening in the wall that's kind of like door shaped, that you can clearly see leads out into the construction site of the room they're building. And if you peek through it, because you can hear people behind there, that's where the fighters are. They're kind of just hanging out in that space. And you can see some of them are stretching, some of them are you see some of them. I mean, there's not a lot of them. There's 3. You see Oddwin there, and she seems to be stretching. And she's definitely, like, normally she's wearing like a lot of layers and kind of like not nice clothes, but definitely not fighting clothes. You see now she's wearing like a sleeveless tunic. She's got leather breeches on. She's got boots, and she's got her fists out, and she's stretching and occasionally kind of just doing some air punches. She's got some good form. You notice immediately, looking like she's a right practiced pugilist. But the others you don't really recognize, the other 2.
Gotcha. All right. I wait for my spot online. I'm just gonna be patient.
Cool.
Maybe ask the bookie a few questions.
Okay. Back at the table.
Yep. I'm holding that other cup, and I've got the other one here, and I'm like, now I'm like really thinking, and I'm kind of letting the old one drain. And then all of a sudden I let out this huge gasp, like, and I slam both of them onto the table. Jaquet! Fuck, I know who that, fuck, I know who that is. Shit. I don't want to go up there anymore. Fuck. It's that. Oh no, but I. This isn't good. This isn't good. This isn't good.
I believe I'm gonna say this. I miss Fyrn. I miss Fyrn.
No, it's not.
I miss Bruce. I miss Septimus. Sal would be better than sitting here sharing a fucking drink with you, mad woman.
Oh, thank you very much. That person was at the site with Hastings. That's the fuck is her name? Lasha.
One of the Bone Rattlers.
Yes, she's a member of the Bone Rattler, and she saw me. She saw Fyrn. She knows that we're there, and she might have seen you too as you popped out and did your whole boogeyman thing.
No, that was very quick. Trust me, I'm very good at quick intro. People don't really recognize me all the time. They recognize me, sorry, but they don't always,
I don't think you understand. They're up there, and the other one is probably up there too. I just looked up her name.
Okay, and do you think they're going to start a fight in the middle of a crowded tavern?
No, Alina. She's probably up there too.
Okay.
We need to leave. We need to go.
Why?
We can't be here.
Why?
Why? Because they fucking saw us. They know what we did.
Okay, and?
I made a fucking fool of myself in front of them the last time.
Right, so don't you want to show them now that you've grown up a little? I don't know, gained a level. And, little
Have I, though? No, you just called me a fucking mad woman. I don't think they'd be pleased to see me, and I don't think I'd be able to hold my own against them. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's why you have Fyrn and myself to help you out. And if you drink too much of that, you're gonna have disadvantage on your ability check. So maybe, okay, that's fine.
Nope. What do we do? Do we just ignore it? I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to dump my drink over my head, and as I'm doing it, I'm casting Mask of Many Faces, and Granny Ryan is coming out.
Okay. Can you remind us what Granny Ryan looks like?
Sure can. I have a sticky note that I wrote a long time ago. Granny Ryan is she's old and wrinkly. She's got green skin and very stringy gray hair, a wart on her nose. She's very hag witchy looking like. And she's got kind of like long yellow fingernails and fangs. And so as I dump the drink over my head, the drink dribbles down, and I take on this appearance, and I'm just holding it over my head. You don't seem to recognize it, right? Did it work? Did it work? Do I look different?
Yeah. No, you. Okay, you know what? I can't do this right now. I am
Wait,
going
where are you going?
to
Don't
go.
don't leave me. Don't leave. Stay here. Stay, please. Stay.
It's been a while since I've indulged myself. Until the fights start, you stay here and do whatever it is your mad brain tells you to. Whatever the ocean says, right?
Whatever
Know what the ocean says.
You know what the ocean says. Right.
I'm gonna go gamble.
Okay, bye.
I imagine there was like an entire group of people at the table just waiting for her to play a card that entire time.
It's an empty table. That would be. Sass didn't notice the other half of the table entirely. Okay, so Sass, you have turned into Granny Ryan, and as Jaquet walks away, you do notice that there are a couple people looking at you funny. Because just pouring the beer on your head is not going to conceal the magic of Mask of Many Faces.
Sure. So I'm just kind of like to just take this off and raise a glass and just start drinking it.
They chalk you up to a drunk sorcerer. But they're taking note and they're keeping their distance. So
Why not Granny Brine?
Oh, missed opportunity.
Jaquet whispers that to himself.
Yeah, as he's walking away. She didn't even say her name. She didn't say anything. I don't think Jaquet actually knows about this disguise. But he just thinks to himself, why not Brian? Whatever.
Okay. So, let's see. Fyrn, you would at that point the bookie would finally kind of like his fingers have kind of been up the whole time as he's writing and counting coin. Takes a big draught of his drink, puts it down, and then looks to you, and then turns the hand and goes like this, gestures you to come over.
Yo, Bookie. How you been?
Oh, White Eye, is it right?
Yeah, you remembered.
Of course. You were to talk for a little while. Obviously, it's been a bit since we've seen you. You looking to fight tonight? Is your friend around? And he kind of looks past you and just sees Granny Ryan and doesn't see Sass.
Thinking about it. She's around here somewhere, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, I know you wanted a challenge. Odwin was saying that you had challenged her a bit, but she's working the last times you were here, and tonight's your chance. She's fighting.
I'm excited. I didn't think I'd get the opportunity so soon.
Yes. What are you looking to? So you're looking to enter the ring tonight?
Yeah, I suppose so. What's the deal? You're not usually drinking this early into the night.
It's been it's none of your business. It's just been a rough week. It's all. Can't a man enjoy himself on fight night?
Can't fault that. Can I roll like insight to see like how
go
shook
for it.
up he is?
Yeah, go for the insight check.
I got a 6.
I mean, I would say like you don't know really what's going on with him, but even with a 6, like he's obviously off. Like you don't know why he's off, but he's obviously not. Like he's usually really charismatic. He's usually really like kind of taunts you a little bit when he's talking to you, cracks more jokes.
Lots of energy, yeah.
Lots
I remember
of energy.
him being
Lots of energy, and he's very subdued right now. You can't really see what kind of emotion is driving it, but he's definitely off his game tonight.
yeah, put me in for the round. If I win tonight, why don't we talk for a while? I'll buy you a drink. You seem a little down.
Oh, a kind offer from you, White Eye. Sure, certainly. I will see where we are at the end of the night, but it seems our policies are changing constantly. It'll be a bit more pricey to enter these days, but of course, pricier to enter, pricier prize pool.
Does this have something to do with the new room that they added in?
No. The new room. No, that's us. We realized the more and he kind of looks you up and down. The more professional our fighters seem, the more capable. We wanted a back room for them so that they could, prepare for their fights. Sort of a holding area. So we're building up a little room on the side. It's also a nice private area for after the fights if whoever the winner is would like to, avoid the crowds. They really jam you up.
I kind of like it, to be honest.
That's the nice thing is the fighter will be able to invite whoever they like to the room. Sort of part of the prize.
Anyone, you say?
Indeed.
Even the fancy pantses up in the rafters over there?
I suppose you can send an invitation whether they come down or not is to them.
I'll keep that in mind.
Right, all right. Well, the entrance fee tonight is, I'm sorry to say, quite pricey, at 10 silver.
Fyrn shuffles through his wallet and is like, seeing how much that really is, because he hasn't been paid for his efforts yet, and he's looking skimpy. That's like half of his wealth. He looks down at it and looks up. He's like, "Ugh. That's a steep price, but you know me, I can't give up a good fight. This'll, and I've learned what happens when people go into debt with you guys, so here you go."
Much bigger price, yes. And he'll take your 10 silver and add it to his pile, and you can notice there is a there's at the very least there's 40 silver there, and then more will come in from the bets. And he tells you you're guaranteed if you win all the fights and you're the champion for the night, because this night is more of like a tournament-esque style. You're guaranteed to at least the half of the pot that has been paid in by the fighters, and then a portion of the house's pull from the bets.
So no odds, just
No odds,
straight up.
just straight up.
Well, the odds would be from the house, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so I have more opportunities to make money, so I'm okay
Exactly.
with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
there's the fighter pool that you can win from, and then there's the house pool that you can win from.
I look at the bookie and after I get my ticket and give him the money, I lean into him and say, "Look, man, I know I've only been here a few weeks, but if you could, talk my way, I don't know who your boss is or how you handle things. I know you're private about those things, but if you could put in a good word for me, I'd really appreciate it."
Give me a persuasion roll.
One.
So it's not that he's not he doesn't rebuff you. He's just kind of not listening as you say this, and he catches the last few words of it, and he goes, of course," and he says yes to you, but you don't even need an insight roll to know he didn't really foster your question, and he's probably not going to follow through.
I just roll my eyes and walk from there to my friends over at the well, I guess I'll walk.
Do you join Sass or Jaquet? Because Jaquet, I imagine, as soon as you finish this conversation, is eyeing the different tables and kind of walking around the room, while you would see Granny Ryan, who you do know is Sass because you were there when she was Granny Ryan.
And Granny Ryan is very paranoidly. That's the word I want. Just looking from table to table and constantly glancing back up at the mezzanine.
Yeah, she looks real threatening. People, even though she's not looking at people threateningly, it's just a very creepy old woman is
Yeah,
with two mugs of empty beer.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
People have scooched their tables away from her.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up to her. Hey, old lady.
Ah! Hi, Fyrn. So
I go by Wide Eye around here.
What? You fucking know it's me. White Eye, fine. We've got a problem. White Eye. Sit.
Yeah.
Sit.
I sit down. The bookie was looking for you, and you seemed a little sketched out.
Why was he looking for me? Why did he say?
I don't know. I think he kind of likes you.
Right. So, do you remember that time I told you about, taking a dead person's boots and waving your sword around and making a big fucking deal about killing someone?
I don't know if I was making too big of a deal, but
Do you remember
sure.
it, Fyrn?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
remember
I
it?
know.
Well, they're fucking here. Up in that room, right up there. Those 2 members of the Bone Rattler who were fucking pissed at what you did. And they're here. And I don't know how to feel about it other than fucking scared.
How do you know this?
I
Did
saw
they
her.
see you?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I saw Lasha, the one that shot me with a fucking arrow.
Right. Well, but she didn't come over to you, did she?
No, but I don't know if she saw me or not. I can only assume that I think Alina. I think that's the other name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alina. That she's up there too. And who knows? Maybe there's more of the crew up there. Maybe they've been waiting for us, Fyrn.
Well, I don't know. It seems kind of dumb to challenge us in the middle of the
That's
entire
why they have a
bar.
private room, Fyrn. I don't think they do it down here. They would do it up there where nobody can see.
Here, she looks like, you know that she talks a little wild, but like she's really the paranoia is thick tonight.
All right.
Reese's.
Okay, it's fine. Listen,
Is it? It's not.
Yeah,
It's not.
it's gonna be
How's
okay.
it fine?
Just
Is it-
listen. Look, it's not fine, right?
It's
we
not
know-
fine. No, it's not fine. It's not fine.
We
at all.
know that they have a grudge on us,
Yeah,
right?
a big one. A big fucking grudge, yeah.
but when have we ever been in this bar and not been worried about a grudge or a debt?
That was
Or,
different. That was different. I can't go and catch a pig and make this go away and have trash thrown at. This is
how
a
do you
big
know? How do
deal,
you know?
Fyrn.
Maybe she likes pigs. Maybe if you talk to her, we could get this all sorted out.
So that, do you think that's what I should do? I should just go waltz right up there and talk to her and talk it out, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah? Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
All right, good. And I finish the drink, finish the other one, scooch back, and I start walking to wherever the stairs are that are going to lead up to the mezzanine.
Give me a perception check to see if you know where those are.
Fion's like, oh crap, and he just starts walking behind her like
15.
15. So
Yeah.
there are only 3 doors that you see: the entrance, the tarped door that was behind where Fyrn was hanging out, and then one that you can see is behind the bar. Basically,
Can I try and trick her and point towards the
Absolutely.
one? Yeah, I'm gonna point towards the tarp door where the fighters are. Just say it's that way.
Right. Granny Ryan has like these like robes and stuff on, so like I attempt to adjust them and just
the way I imagine you right now is like when the witches in Hocus Pocus are moving through the town and they're just like,
that is Sean.
Moving
That is
their-
exactly
moving their
what is
dresses,
in my
holding their
mind.
their skirts up, their Victorian skirts.
Yep, that is
Or earlier
that's
than
exactly what I am picturing. Yes.
And you do that with a huff. Fyrn, I imagine, is a little silly to you as you see her walk and, I imagine, push the tarp aside, and you step in, and you're immediately just like a foot away from a like 7'5" drow who's just sort of like stretching.
Oh, hello. How are you doing? My name's Granny Ryan.
Are you fighting tonight?
No, do I look like I can fight? No. Are you fighting tonight?
And you see he does like a real like bodybuilder stretch. Like, oh, what do you think? Do you think, Granny?
I'll be rooting for you. That's for
You
sure.
see
What's your name?
Immediately from behind him, you see Odwin looks past and goes, Yes, This fucking granny again. Get back inside. This is a room for the fighters. Room is a strong word, I know. As she there's no ceiling yet.
No, it's coming along real.
Get
real
out of here.
Nice. All right, I'm going. Go back out. What the fuck, Fyrn?
Just wait until after the fights. We'll talk about it then. It's gonna be all right. We got an opportunity to make a lot of money here, and I don't want to squander it just because you're paranoid.
You and Jaquet, always with the fucking money. God, there's more to life than just making money. It like saving your own skin and I'm going to the bar to get another drink.
Okay. As you wander off to the bar to get another drink, which will cost you 1 silver, but we'll get to that. Jaquet. You're scouting out a table to gamble at?
Yeah, preferably one that doesn't have a lot of smokers.
A little difficult, but
Yep.
you can definitely, there's at least one table where you can notice, like, I imagine, Jaquet, you're, like, watching, maybe eyeing, like, the games they're playing, seeing what's going on, and then you would notice, like, one table that's only got one smoker, and he puts his cigar out. And it's the only table where there's no smokers at right now, or no one actively smoking. And it's not a full table. There's three folk there and
Okay.
2 open chairs.
Yeah, so Jaquet will head over. What are they playing?
They seem to be playing a very simple card game that is reminiscent of like a blackjack.
Okay. Sliding into a seat, Jaquet goes, room for one more?
And you see they all kind of like nervously look around, but this seems to be, you kind of are watching out and seeing this seems to be the most open table. Other tables, they saw you, they would kind of like cover their shoulder. And you see the guy who seems to be dealing the hand this round looks at you and goes, and he kind of looks you up and down and notices some of the jewelry. I know you're not wearing all of it, I believe, but he's, take a seat. I don't think I've seen you around here.
No, I'm new. My name is Jaquet, he says, offering his hand.
Okay. All right. Jack. You gambler? You do a lot of this?
Oh, do I gamble? He asks me. He says to like one of the guys next to him and like he elbows him in there. He asks if I gamble. Of course I gamble. I breathe. I live. It's just a way of life, isn't it?
Okay. All right. And he kind of looks to the other two. And you see this gentleman is he's a human man. He's probably, in his late 30s. He's even got some gray salt and pepper in his hair. Hair cut real short and tight, shaved clearly. Most of the time, it's kind of just like grown in a little bit. And even without like any kind of like insight check or perception check, like clearly like the other two kind of look a little schlubby. This guy looks like he takes care of himself despite being a smoker and a drinker. Like every other aspect of his life, he stays somewhat fit. And like doesn't even hide the fact that he's got a dagger at his waist. Might even surmise that this guy might have some sellsword-esque vibes to him. And these other two are kind of his working class buddies. As you can see, there's one kind of like really like they're you think they're dragonborn, but they have a much more amphibious form. A little bit more like a salamander-esque dragonborn, one of them, with this sort of a mottled blue skin with these big kind of black eyes that is just sort of like hunched over right now and kind of snickering at whatever this guy says, even though they're not jokes. And then the third person is clearly a half elf who has kind of a shaggy blonde bowl cut with very sunburnt skin, rough hands, sleeveless tunic, rather short and squat, but very strong looking. You might even surmise that they're half elf, half dwarf. No beard though, and clearly works in the docks on a daily basis.
As the DM notes the 2 NPCs he created.
Shush.
Hey, better to write it down now than to forget about it and then have to think about it. I've been there, trust me, I've been there. So taking in everyone, Jaquet will kind of offer his hand around to the other two. First, the amphibious dragonborn. Jaquet?
Oh, and he gives you his hand, and it's a little moist, and it does have kind of those large suction cup fingertips.
Disgusting.
That kind of like very uncomfortably, like his hand is, even though this guy's not like one of those like 7 feet tall dragonborn. This guy is like 5'7", but like way out of proportion sizes to like his body parts. Like his arms, his limbs are very thin, but his hands are huge. So like when he goes to shake your hand, like you kind of like wrap your hand around his thumb, and then his fingers wrap around your forearm, and those big suction cup like fingertips just kind of get really weirdly struggling to suction onto your fur and skin. So it's like if you put a tape on an animal's fur. It doesn't quite stick, but it gets kind of mingled in there. And then he pulls his hand away and he's, ribbon.
A pleasure, I'm sure. And offering to the half-dwarf elf.
Half-dwarf elf, he kind of looks up. He's definitely the least friendly when you go, and he's kind of like, sort of like just kind of holding his beer real close to him, and he looks up, and now he's actually looking at you. Can see like his face has got a lot of bruises. He's got cauliflower ear like a wrestler. Like he is a pugilist and probably fights in fight night when he thinks he can do well or have fun, but he's not fighting tonight. And he just sort of looks up and Doran.
Well, Jack, Ribbon, Doran, shall we play?
Hey, sit down. Yeah.
I'm sitting.
Oh, you already said.
Yes.
He's playing the same game, Jack. And Jack's like, of course, tradition amongst our friend group here, Jaquet. That's right, Jaquet. Is take a shot before a new player enters the game.
Looking around, are there any shot glasses on the table?
There are.
Oh, okay.
You only see like basically you see one set. Like no one's joined them, so they took a shot together at the beginning of their table.
I see. Yeah.
You see, Jack clearly has like a stack of coins that he's been winning, and he just takes a few silver off and looks at you and goes, "Don't worry, it's on us."
Oh, you're too kind. Thank you.
And you see he kind of holds up his hand with a few coins between the fingers, and you can see the bartender notices, and Angus comes kind of running over to. He knows what they want, so he comes over with a bottle of whiskey and and pours into the shot glasses already there. Puts one down for you. All right.
Gracias.
And Jack holds up the shot to our new friend.
Salute.
And you can down the shot if you like. And he looks to you and he says, "All right, Jack, we're playing Kingmaker, which is just it's blackjack."
Okay.
We're trading around deals. It's my deal. Here we go. Before we jump into that, I want to jump back over to Sass. Sass, you get up to the bar and Angus is there, cleaning a cup.
I need to drink.
Oh, hey,
please.
hey.
Hi.
Hey,
Yes. Hello.
hey.
I need a drink, please. Please. Several, actually. I need several drinks.
Oh,
Several.
what do you
Maybe
drink?
a shot, actually. Can I have two of those? Two of those, please.
Two shots?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Please.
What do you want? You want
Whatever. Whatever's the cheapest.
Well, some things are kind of, we got the lower shelf ski, tequila,
That sounds great.
Nordka.
Nope. Sure. You know what? I'll have one of each.
So we also have rum. So four shots.
Yes, please. I just need a drink. I'm feeling very nervous.
4 shots. You really want 4 shots?
I want 4 fucking shots. Yes.
Okay, that's going to be 8 silver.
Oh. Fine.
You see, he lines up 4 shots there, and you can see he has 4 bottles. He's 2 in each hand. He brings them over, and you can see he pours the first one, which is the whiskey. He pours the second one, which is this golden tequila. He pours the third one, which is the Nordka, which is just vodka. And he pours the fourth one of rum, which is a nice dark rum. Not nice, it's just a dark rum. It's the bottom shelf, yeah. Give me a Constitution saving throw. Sass, you are about to throw up.
Great.
What do you do? You run outside, or do you puke on the bar? Do you run out to the fighters and puke on them?
No, I don't fight.
Do you swallow it?
Oh God, no! You know what I do? I jump over the bar. Nope, I jump over the bar, throw up behind the bar.
You see, as you are you leap over the bar, he was clearly it's at that moment that he saw the Jack with his silver for the shots. So he grabs the bottle of whiskey that he poured your shot with, and he's walking away from the bar. And because he's walking away, you were like, I'm climbing over. You climb over, get down on your knees, and just puke right there onto the wooden paneled floor. And he just looks and goes, fuck, and looks over to Jack and just and runs over to pour the drinks real quick as you have puked on the floor.
And I'm just sitting with my hands on my head and resting my elbows on my knees and feeling very dizzy, but now kind of trying to be like, all right. It's fine.
You see, a few moments later, Angus returns, and he kind of, you can see you kind of even as you're saying that, you kind of look up and notice there are just people on the other side of the bar staring down at you, snickering. A couple of them whispering, so little Brian. And then Jack comes over and kind of bends down next to you and kind of looks at you, and he kind of barely touches your shoulders. You okay, Granny?
Yep. Yes. Yeah. I'm fine. Mm-hmm.
Why don't you come with me?
No.
Come with me.
No. No. Can I just sit here?
No, because I need to get this cleaned up, and you're behind the bar.
I can do it.
No,
I can do it.
please do not.
I can clean.
Do you want? I could ask you to leave too.
I can,
or do you want to come sit down and have some water, or I'm gonna kick you out?
All right, fine. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm really sorry. I was just feeling really nervous, and I thought this would help, but it just made it a whole lot worse.
Yeah, I didn't think you were gonna shoot them one after the other.
Yeah, I kind of surprised
not a good
myself
idea.
there too. Yeah, I'm aware. I don't think I'll be doing that again. Okay, I'm really, really sorry. If you give me a second, I can clean it up.
No, that's fine. We have someone for that.
Are you sure?
They might charge you some money. So you got another 2 silver for me? I think you do.
Yeah,
I think you do. And maybe another silver on top of that for the trouble.
Okay. All right. Just, you know what? Just here. Just take Just give him everything. So
Okay, great. Come
take
back.
all of it.
And you see he takes you through the back door behind the bar. And you see there's a small sort of office, like very small, enough for a single desk with some books and a single chair, really a stool. Behind that, there's another set of stairs that clearly leads up to the private area, as well as another door that clearly leads outside. That is a private entrance. There's like probably a 12-year-old half-orc boy sitting there, asleep on the stool. And he goes up immediately, like whacks the boy on the shoulder and goes, "Hey, hey, hey! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up, Merkel! 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 Okay." And then the kid kind of wakes up. He's like, "Oh, what? I clean up immediately. Here." And he hands him the 1 silver. The kind lady tipped you to clean up. Get out there.
Hey, I gave you more than that. So I think he deserves a little more than that.
Hey! Shut the fuck up.
And I'm I'm gonna drop Mask of Many Faces in front of him and say, "You shut the fuck up." I'm just gonna sit.
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
If I knew it was you, I would not have given you 4 shots. This is a real sad showing after the last time I saw you.
I know. I told you I got nervous. I got really nervous.
Sit down. Sit in the stool. Sit in the stool.
Okay. I'll try not to puke again. I can help him clean up.
No.
I really can.
It's his job.
Why?
It's his job.
but I
It's his
made
job.
the mess.
Yeah, and you paid for it.
That's gross.
You paid for it.
Yeah.
So just sit here. I'm going to get you some water
Okay.
and some bread and some butter.
Okay. Thank you.
Prison heart. He goes out. And we'll jump back to Jaquet.
I'm eyeing the staircase as he leaves.
Okay. Jaquet. The first the hands are dealt. So I am going to have you let's see, what's the best way to do this?
You want me to deal, Sean?
Do you actually have cards in front of you?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
No, I know.
Do you want to just use the gambling downtime?
Yeah, that's actually probably easiest.
Xanathars.
So you're gonna make 3 checks.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do the wisdom, charisma, and charisma. Let's see if characters have proficiency in an appropriate gaming tool.
So I do have proficiency in both
Cards?
dice and cards.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
can I? So I am a little confused. Would I do charisma and then gaming set?
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that-
I think.
okay.
Let's see. Okay, so you do.
It says that tool proficiency can replace the relevant skill in any of the checks, and the checks are like charisma, intimidation, or charisma and deception. So I wouldn't know what.
So it's because it's just. Yeah, I mean, I would be fine with you replacing one of them with the tool set, with the card set.
Right.
Yeah, because it's just yeah, because it's really just making you roll those 3 stats, and determining based off of those. But I think it makes sense if you want to swap anything out for something else that you're proficient in. That makes sense. All right, so let's do betting then. So you see Jack, or not Jack, Ribbon immediately puts down a silver for his bet. Everyone puts in an ante, so they do 1 silver for the ante. And then Ribbon puts down 1 silver for his bet. And you would see that let's just real quick. Doran immediately folds. But Jack raised, or actually no, you would be next. Sorry, you would be next. So Ribbon has put 1 silver in. Doran has folded. You can bet or raise.
Okay,
Match or
well,
raise.
since I don't know what my cards are.
Yeah, I don't actually. So this gambling
want,
is
let's
very
just-
simplified. Yeah.
Right, we can just use those numbers, and it says, like you would just do like the DC for the check is 5 plus 2d10, and then just go from, and like I just say like, all right, I will bet like, I'll stake, 10.
Yeah, I guess the
silver,
way that
whatever.
this is that you just do 1 bet.
Yeah,
So-
or I mean, this says like the activity is like a work week. So like the intent is that it's over
the
a
downtime
number
is like
of...
it's not a yeah, it's just a
Yes.
this is me going to the gambling rings.
Right, exactly.
Okay, cool. Then let's just do a
So, keep it simple, Jaquet will just do 10 silver.
Yep,
Because
and
it
I'm
doesn't seem
rolling
like these
the,
guys have big pockets.
no, they don't. Jack probably has the most, but it seems like it's mostly because he's won money from them.
Right.
Okay, so I'll do the first DC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is +5. Okay, so go ahead. Let's see. DC for each of the checks is 5 plus 2d10. Generate a separate DC for each one. Consult the gambling results table to see how it cares. Okay, so I have the DC for the first roll, and that is
Okay.
that one is a 20.
Okay, I fail. I got an 11.
Okay, so I'll say the way that plays out is you're just unsure about Jack and Ribbon's cards. The next one is a 11 for the.
All right, I got a 19.
Okay, so you're looking good there. You get them to bid a bit more into that 10 pool, we'll say, is kind of the role play of it. And then our last DC, let's see, is the last DC is quite high at 21, but you're good at charisma.
16.
16. Okay. I'll say that in the kind of like the last moments, it's not even like Jack, the charismatic one, that comes out with like the good hand. It's Ribbon, and Ribbon is like, and you can see Ribbon like pulls the betting pool in, and like those sticky fingers get all over it, and the 5 silver you get back in this is just covered in stickiness.
Jaquet kind of like flicks off some of it, but doesn't seem to come off, and he just puts it aside and he goes, well, looks like I didn't pick my lucky table, but an interesting group you 3 make.
You underestimate Ribbon.
It's true, I did. I thought that you were, I don't know, not good at this.
It's the eyes. You don't know, and I'm bluffing with these eyes. And he points at the big black eyes.
Oh, so what is your tell then?
I don't have a tell.
Well said, my friend. Well said. Tough nut to crack, huh?
He says, kind of directing this more towards Jack.
Jack looks at you and he does smirk and he says, Ribbon's really good at it, but you ever see him lick his eye? Dead giveaway. You see Ribbon just kind of like looks, and you see one the tongue just. Is when he gets nervous.
Visibly blanches at
that. Do we scare you away, or are you in for another round?
No, I'm willing to play some more. At least until the fights start, You here for the fights?
Oh, yeah. Old Doran here likes to watch the competition. But, yeah. When there's gambling, I come. I'm not as interested in the blood sport. But if Doran asks me to come, I'll come. But yeah, we could probably get 2 more rounds in before that the fighting starts officially.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Let's run through 2 more rounds. All right, first DC is 13 for the insight check. And how much silver are you opting in for this one?
I mean, I figured just the same 10.
Sure.
So that was 13.
Beats it beats it. The one success. Next one is a 17 to beat with a deception check.
19.
And 2 successes. And the last one is a 15 to beat.
All right, 10. I lost.
Okay. Well, you got 2 successes, so you are going to make some money off of this. You're going to get 15 silver out of this round. So you get basically you get all your money. You're even now. All right, last round. We've got a 18 for the first check.
All right, 28. That was a nat 20.
Hell yeah. And then we got a 12 for the second DC.
19.
Nice. And then we have a 15 for the last DC.
13. Still can't quite.
Okay. So you
can't get that hat trick.
So you'll win. So for the final round, you'll still get that 15 silver. So what? You put in 30 silver overall. You won 5 silver overall.
Yeah.
But in the end, you're kind of we'll check in with Fyrn after this. But you look to them and you hear the fighting starting to be announced, and Jack kind of starts folding the cards up to put them away, and he looks at you and goes, "It was a real pleasure, Jaquet. You're fun to gamble with. You actually put a little effort in." Unlike Doran here. And you realize Doran folded every single round.
He was just there because his friends came.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of looks up and down. He says, "Yeah, next time you're around, look for us. Always welcome at our table."
I appreciate it, friends. Until next time. And he goes out and he goes to shake Jack's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Turns to Ribbon and just kind of gives him a little salute, and then looks at Doran and just nods and walks off.
Great, perfect. But yeah, they all perhaps save Doran, who just seems to be a grumpy half dwarf. They all seem to, Jack particularly, really liked you, so your reputation bar goes up. All right, Fyrn. Fyrn, you
I don't suppose we can do downtime rules for all that fighting too,
huh? We can keep it abridged for some of it.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I think we'll.
I just don't want to take up the whole.
No,
thing
we'll
do.
we'll do similar. It's not going to be a full initiative fight with like action, bonus action, whatnot. We'll do it like a skill challenge similar to that. But I will say though, before the fighting actually starts, because you would notice it, you do notice Sass climb over the bar as Granny Ryan, and then kind of moments later get brought into the back room by Angus, the bartender.
I just like close the curtain and shake my head and look towards the other fighters, because I was like hanging out with them for a little while. Like I wanted to make sure she was okay, so I was just checking up on her every 2 minutes or something like that. But
yeah,
generally I was just like getting ready for the battles.
Okay.
Maybe I'll sneak up to Orin and ask her a question or two.
You mean Odwin?
Yeah, Odwin. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You would have time to ask her a few questions. As you get out there, you would see that drow that she noticed is still kind of stretching. Seems very full of himself. Odwin is kind of just sort of like resting as the fighting is going to be happening soon. And then you notice a third person who is the slightest of everyone, the most lithe. And you notice it is a elven woman, not drow elf. Probably a Gwyn elf, and she's doing a much more focused, kind of like balanced stretches. Clearly more of a dexterous fighter out of the three. But you can definitely go up to Odwin.
I kind of just like go up to her, like arms crossed, and just be like, "Hey,
You
been a
see,
while."
you see, she was kind of like sitting on a bench and kind of like looking down. She looks up at you and immediately stands up and crosses her arms and looks at you and goes, "Ah, I thought you had run out of town."
Can't get rid of me that easily.
Well, I
was,
wondered if I'd see you tonight after they asked me to fight.
I'm not gonna disappoint. You know, I fought a wyvern out while I was adventuring.
Wyvern, you say?
Yeah,
Isn't
pretty
that
much
adventurous?
single-handedly.
Where'd you use your big sword for that?
Yeah, so
Well, you know, in here, and she kind of just punches her palm. It's all fists. All in the mind, too. None of your magic or weapons. So we'll see.
I guess we shall. By the way, why are you fighting tonight? It doesn't seem like a good one to show off your best fighter.
Give me a persuasion roll. Not to really just or really, I'd say you could do persuasion. We'll go with persuasion. Sort of to chum up with her, buddy up with her, get her maybe talking a little bit more.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd be a real title fight, if you know what I mean. Persuasion, you say? A 12.
Okay, she looks to you and just kind of says, well, rumors. Always rumors, but they wanted to draw more of a crowd, and often the people at Widow's Ward, they like to see me fight. As I said, I am the champion. Never been beaten. But truth be told, and she kind of gets in a little closer here so the other fighters can't hear you. I heard there were some rather important people in town. But I think they might want to show off for folk above our scales.
You know any of them?
Well.
I'm not asking for names.
Oh, and I wouldn't give you names. I like you, White Eye, but we're not friends yet. But,
I get that. I just want to know, big people, head honchos, they might make big changes. Seems like things are already changing around here a little bit. I just want to know if it's for the better.
Well, rumors. Again, rumors. But, trying to, shake the place up a bit. And she kind of looks around to the construction around you. Make it a bit more of a respectable establishment. Less, out there with our, our whole ass showing. Ivan's changing a bit. If the papers are right about the reforms coming from the Commodore's office. So, when reforms come, new laws, or any laws, well, got to figure things out, I think. Don't know if there's the head honchos. She kind of like looks at you knowingly. But, important people. Influential people.
Interesting. Well, we better put on a good show then. Don't make me look bad. I don't want to knock you out too quick.
Well, let's see if we even get the fight. You might get knocked out by one of these two.
These two? Have you seen that one over there? He's a complete joke.
And you see that guy, the drow, just kind of like drops his like stretching that's clearly like doing nothing, and he just looks at you with just sort of this disgusted look. He's like, "You don't even know who I am."
Exactly. Fuck off.
And you see he frustratedly kind of like storms off back inside. But it's at that point that you would kind of start to hear commotion inside, like the people are kind of gathering, and Odwin would look at you and say, "Oh, it looks like we better get out there. We're about to draw the fights. Yeah, better hope that I'm not fighting you in the first round to kick your ass. Won't even get to compete." And she walks past you, kind of gives you a shoulder bump, playful, not too aggressive.
I smack her ass with my tail.
And she would actually, you know what?
Playfully.
No, I know. I'm gonna roll something real quick.
Oh no.
Fyrn, what's your AC?
17.
As you go to playfully smack her ass with the tail, she grabs it immediately, and then looks at you holding your tail and just goes, and then lets go of it and heads inside with a big smile.
Fyrn's getting ideas.
Yeah.
Weird ones.
Yeah. She seems to also. Anyway, you can head inside as they are calling the matchups, basically.
All right, let's do it.
All right,
break.
we're gonna go to a break. Yeah. So as Jaquet is during this time would be around when Jaquet's finishing that last round of gambling with Jack, Ribbon, and Doran. Sass would be in the back, kind of catching her breath and eyeing the stairs at this point, as Angus goes to get her some water and bread, and Fyrn is heading inside for the matchups for the fights for fight night. We're going to take a break. We'll be back shortly, folks. Please stick around. See you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. It's okay that you're here, because you're all about to be somewhere where you can watch. Well, maybe not Sass, depending on what she does next. So, Jaquet, you, I imagine you would just return to the table that you had originally were sitting at, where Sass was, or do you go up to the bar?
Probably up to the bar.
Actually, at this point, someone else would have taken that table once Sass kind of vacated it, and Fyrn didn't return. So, yeah. So you can go up to the bar. Do you want to get another drink?
Yeah, grab another beer.
Cool. All right. So that's 1 silver there. Fyrn, I need you to roll me a D4.
Okay, that's a little concerning.
It's just determining the matchups.
Yeah, leaving it up to chance.
The way God intended it.
I got a 4.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
You know what that
Odwin
means?
is
You have
up
to fight
first.
yourself.
Okay. No, it's fine, guys. I rolled the highest possible number. That means I'm off to a great start.
Okay. All right. So, Jaquet, you get your beer and you can kind of lean up against the bar and watch as you would hear the same announcement. You see they do their classic rolling out the gramophone and play Everyone Stands and Rises and takes off their hats and whatever for just a janky, really old sounding, almost inaudible record that is just playing very fancy classical music before cheers erupt as they roll the gramophone away. Probably the most expensive thing in this bar, other than maybe stuff upstairs. And the bookie would give his announcements. The bookie is, at this point, you, Jaquet, would also notice the bookie is not as into it as he usually is, and he is slurring his words a little bit as he is just sort of like, as in our first match up for the evening, we have a crowd favorite in Odwin, the Brutalist. And the crowd is kind of like, he's a little off, so they're kind of like, okay, all right. And the returning man who is redeemed his reputation amongst the widow's ward, settling his debts and returning to the ring for an honest redemption. What is this? White Eye. And you can see like there is some recognition. Some of the audience is somewhat forgotten about you all, but there is definitely some cheers of recognition. Yeah, Jaquet.
At the bar in the back, whoever's like around Jaquet will kind of be like,
Oh, what's this guy doing? There's no pomp, no circumstance. You know, that's my friend up there. He actually just got back from killing a wyvern. You know, that's something that should be talked about.
Absolutely. Give me a quick charisma roll of your choice besides deception. 'Cause that's not obviously deception.
I guess we'll just go persuasion. You know,
Yeah, class.
19.
Yep. So you see, like, yeah, the only person kind of uninterested in what you're saying is Merkel, who is finishing cleaning up Sass's vomit. He probably would be really into it if he wasn't currently cleaning up vomit. But no, there's absolutely the other people at the bar are all kind of like seem like, oh, okay, all right. Well, we thought he was pretty badass before, but this is pretty badass. And they're perfectly persuaded. The cheers start to go up a little bit more for him, and then they announced the last two equally unenthused, as you can see. He's just sort of like, and we have the hulking mass, of the mountains, Harold, the drow. And the drow kind of immediately does some bodybuilding stretches there, as the crowd is not that enthused about him. Yeah,
From the bar again.
Harold the Drow? No, it's Harold the Hulky. Look at that thing. You know, back in Gwenville, we have a name for Drow. It's the mountains men. You know, they're big and strong.
And Jaquet is basically now trying to usurp the announcer.
Absolutely.
So he's just like getting closer to the announcer. As
No, he's saying this all back at the bar. You know, basically the announcer's up there, you know, projecting and everything, and Jaquet isn't quite projecting. He's, you know, in the back, but he's like, you know, after he saw everyone kind of like look at him about Fyrn's thing, he was like, oh, I can get some attention. And he's starting to, you know.
Absolutely. I know the baseline is going to be a 19, which we'll get the crowd up, but I just want to see how high you can get on these. So go ahead and give me another persuasion.
I'm actually going to switch to performance to,
you
know, minimize it, because now he's performing. Before he was just trying to be like, hey, this is my friend. Like, he's pretty cool. And now he's like, oh, so that's a 21 for performance.
21, excellent. So with a 21, the whole bar is now noticing, because like it's fairly quiet in there between the cheers, and like people now, like after the bookie says his bit, they don't immediately clap, they look to you. And for the last one, he goes, and then of course, and you see he goes, and of course, and he just looks across the room directly at you, and just like shakes his head like I don't even care. As he goes, and last, we have Janna, the fiery, rumored to be from the far lands and face demons of the forests and mountains and jungles of the unknown spaces. Is Janna.
And, you know, in the back, Jaquet goes,
Well, he's trying now, but it's Janna, the jaunting, the fiery, the flame from afar. She comes bringing light to those dark places and shows us the darkness within her as well.
Gotta give me a final performance roll with advantage.
oh,
Yeah, that last one was good.
20.
Great. The crowd, again, they hear him, a few quiet claps and like maybe a whistle here, and then everyone looks to you, and you give that final performance, and it's just an immediate eruption in the audience. What was a very lax fight night is now full fight night. People have rushed up. A lot of people aren't sitting anymore. There's now a crowd around the arena. There's people rushing up to the bookie to try to get last minute bets in, and it's certainly looking a little bit more fun in here. So he immediately, the bookie's like, all right, hold up. Our first match of the night will be Aldwin versus White Eye. Please enter the ring. Our two champions. And he takes his place back up on his typical podium, where he then starts to take bids for this fight.
Sean.
Mm-hmm.
My storm rune charm that gives me prophetic sense.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a visible inclination? Or is it just a prophetic vision what I see? Doesn't seem like something that might be noticeable if I start using it. It's just luck. Come on, give this to me.
So the last time, when you saw this stone in action, there was a visible happening on the stone itself. There was a kind of like the runes on it lit up for a moment. On your persons, it probably would be invisible and it would just be an effect within you. But the activating of it does have a visual component that you could try to conceal, because it's not like the stone is on the size of, like it's a handheld charm. So like you could easily kind of like try to conceal it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like before I go up there, like I try, like it's underneath my shirt or something like that, and I'm just like, it's like hanging like this, and I just like go like that, and I just like say a quick like prayer to the spirits, and I say, I'm gonna need all your help on this one.
Absolutely. So go ahead and give me a either sleight of hand or stealth check. Because it's already somewhat hidden in your garments, it's not a super high DC.
18. Let's go.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, not a single soul in the room saw you do that, and that your shirt concealed the glow. You do feel the heat though on your hand, and there is this slight, like, you get slight singe marks on your hand, because you do know this is it. Then as soon as the prophetic vision comes, the runes break on it, and what you would see is like you would just start to like visualize the room as kind of like echoes on top of each other of things, so that you get like a literally just a 6-second advanced notice of like what's going to happen next, and then it reverts back to whatever the action actually was.
Right, and it only lasts for 1 minute, so it's basically just like the first fight.
Exactly, yeah. Which we'll jump right into. All right, so you enter the ring. She smirks at you, spits a little into the sand of the ring. Go ahead and give us your first skill check. So give us an athletics check.
Okay, here we go. 7 + 8 is 15. Oh wait, I have advantage.
From what? The prophetic vision is a reaction you use to give yourself advantage.
So I can only use it once through the whole thing?
No, I would say not, because it's a skill challenge. So actually, no, yeah. This prophetic, yeah. You could just do straight advantage across the board.
Nice. Much better. 25.
Nice. Okay, so... All right, so you come in with this 25, and you succeed on this first round. So you come in. She goes immediately for a tackle. She's trying to get you to the ground. She goes immediately for your waist. How do you successfully avoid that and then return the favor?
I predict. I see the echoes of her coming low, so I jump backwards as she charges into me at the last second, and spread my legs so she can't reach them, and then I take my arm and I hit it over her shoulder like a bar and try and knock her onto the mat the opposite direction.
Excellent. You succeed in doing that, and as you knock her to the ground, she kind of rolls to the side and gets up to her feet dexterously. and you can give us her second roll, which is a athletic or acrobatics check.
Okay. This one is the only one I'm is a little lower than the others with my bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 20 dirty.
Dirty 20. Excellent. So, you come in for this not final, but she basically is trying to go for a quick movement. She's trying to maneuver around you to get behind you and pull you into a headlock. But she's not successful in doing it. What do you do at this point? So she's kind of fumbles this acrobatics check herself.
Once again, it looks very reactionary, my fighting style. Like, it's not very straightforward. Like, I'm not going for the first swing. She goes and tries to wrap around me using her speed, and I catch her halfway and give her a clean punch to the gut that bounces her against the side of the ring. And the cage rattles as the crowd screams.
Love it. Absolutely. And as you do that, she struggles to kind of recover her breath. Go ahead and give me your final roll, which is a Constitution roll, and with a added 1d10.
All right. So I got a 23 plus the d10 is 8, so that'll make it a 31.
31. Okay. You come in hot for this. With a 31, I'm gonna say, I was gonna do these as a best out of threes. For not the 3 rolls, for 3 rounds of the 3 rolls, but with a 31 on this last one, like you knock her out.
Yes.
With this last one. So how does this final move go? Yeah.
Just like a true fighting game, I got her boxed in the corner. It's time to unleash the combo. I use my tail as if it was like I practiced my swings as if I was like my tail was the sword. Yeah. So I sweep her legs like from under and knock her into the air, and then I jump onto the cage and like punch her midair a few times, and like it keeps knocking her up. And then when she comes down, I am like still holding on to the cage, and I just like, people's elbow straight onto her.
Like a straight like weird hybrid of Super Smash Brothers and a WWE game. As you're doing this, you bring the elbow down, and like she gets a few hits in. Like she's not completely like just kind of not 1, 2, 3 punch completely out. She's getting hits in. This is definitely not a complete steamroll until these last moves, where you're just bringing in these last moves, and you see it's like that last people's elbow comes down on her, and she tries to stand up, and she looks at you, and she smirks before just getting into a fighting position, and then just collapsing back into the sand. Knocked out, KO. No need for the next 2 rounds. You have beaten her to a enormous cheer from the audience. As like at first when she stands up and goes like this and before falling, the audience is dead quiet, and you can hear a pin drop. But then she falls, plop, sand shoots up in the air, and then erupts into cheers all around.
She's down! The big brute is down, taken down by the other big brute. Who would have thought?
As people are cheering, and Jaquet, like people around you who are at first like kind of just sort of like sipping their drinks and kind of whatever, are like grabbing you by the shoulders and shaking you, and be like, yeah, the brute fought the brute and the brute won.
And now Jaquet is like on the bar, like hyping everyone up. He's totally into it.
Fyrn is like soaking up the applause, and like does a round around the the cage
The
to
ring,
like
yeah.
get people hyped up. But after he walks around once, like the announcer's yelling at him to like get off the stage, like
Yeah,
the next
yeah.
fight's starting. But he like picks up his opponent and helps her off the stage.
And you can immediately notice like she like was knocked out, but this isn't like the unrealistic like she's out for 8 hours now. She,
I grab her shoulder and she comes
too, and she just sort of smirks at you, and as you're carrying her away, you suddenly feel a slap on your ass from her as her hand kind of sinks down from your shoulder.
Nice.
Nice. Yes. As she goes, "You hit harder than I thought, big fella." And before the next match, we're gonna cut back to Sass. So Sass, you are sitting in there feeling woozy, eyeing these stairs.
Yep.
As you start to hear these cheers, you can clearly hear Jaquet hyping the crowd up in there. You can hear the announcement for Fyrn, and it's like as the fight is getting started is when you kind of get, this is when Angus comes back and gives you the bread and water. Here you go. It's kind of a shit show out there.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really sorry. I don't really know who I am anymore, and it's hitting hard. Have you ever felt like that? Like you just don't know who you are anymore?
Honey, every day. Every
What is
fucking
how
day.
does how do you keep going?
Oh, I don't take 4 shots in a row.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
Space them out. Every single Himmel night, I work all day, all night. But the lens is for me. Lens is for me.
What do you do on the lens? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, if I'm being really honest, I kind of just sit in my place and
I finished it.
do nothing really. I
Hey,
read.
Sometimes you need that. You need that time to be alone with your thoughts, right?
Yeah.
But then your thoughts start talking back, and then it's just that's not good,
Yeah.
right? Do your thoughts ever talk back to you?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of negative self-talk sometimes, when I leave here.
Me too, man.
I just, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm a freaking regular
Wait,
bartender in a
I asked
sketchy
those-
bar in the widow's ward where I don't know
Right.
what the fuck's going on up there, and he points up the stairs and he's like,
What is the fuck going on up there? What is that room? Who's up there?
give me a persuasion roll.
How do? Natural 20 for a 24.
Okay. So, thank you, Daryl, for the raid. Thank you,
Hey,
for coming in.
Daryl.
Good to see you. Hope your stream was good. So, as you get this nat 20, as you're kind of, commiserating with this bartender who seems to be leaning into it, he just goes like, it's why all our prices are going up. It's why the fights are changing. It's why we're building. It's just some people in town, some important people with influence talking about the reforms coming to Hyven and the thumb of the Commodores and the Governor Podgen from Solanel wants us to be people. Respect.
Why?
Some shit
Why
like
are
that.
they? What? What's wrong with what you're doing here? Why are they trying to change you?
Well, it's because I don't know. I'm not. It's above my pay grade, honey. I just serve sling drinks at the sketchy fight bar. I don't go up there. Lock the door for them,
You don't.
and then they take
there?
the key because they don't trust me after they're in there, and they return it at the end of the night.
You fucking work here. They should trust you. I trust you.
Well, that's very nice of you, but I don't know if the trust of a sea witch.
I am.
I'm not going to tell you what they call you now.
What do they? Do they call me Pig Lady? Tell me if they call me Pig Lady. What do they call? Just say it. Whatever it is, I can fucking handle it because I am at my fucking lowest. So we might as well just pile it on so I can rise.
So you know what you looked like when you were in here a second ago? You were like a hag, a witch of sorts. Your name was the Sea Witch. Super like Sea Witch, Sea Hag. No, it's worse.
Oh, it's worse.
How they call you the Sea Hog.
Oh, that is worse.
Sea Hog. Pigs of the Sea.
Pigs of the Sea. Well, you know, at least it was fucking entertaining, right? Whatever makes people smile.
Yeah, well, at least they didn't see you throw up everywhere. They might have called you something else.
Yeah.
I don't know, Sea Hack. Or just the Vomit Witch.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. It's the Vomit Witch. Yeah. How about just Witch? That sounds pretty cool, right?
No.
The beach barfer.
It's very, very basic.
No, but it's like it's the witch. The witch.
Everyone does the proper noun. You know, I've worked here for years. I've seen the fights. Everyone does the proper noun. The brute, the fighter, the fiery. You know.
I don't know.
Anyway, I have to get back to work.
That's fair. Okay. Thank you.
You can
for
stay
the breads
here.
and the water. Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, come on out. I have a drink ready for you. Won't be liquor. It'll be some of the, the cheap stuff.
I appreciate it.
But take your time.
Thanks.
Okay, heads back in there.
Great. So after he leaves, I'll eat a little bit of the bread and drink a little bit of the water, and just kind of like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna lay on the floor. I'm going to stare up at the ceiling and kind of just like have my arms out. Like I'm gonna starfish. I'm gonna lay like a starfish. And I'm just gonna stare at the ceiling. Just thinking, kind of spiraling, but not spiraling. I really don't know who I am anymore. What the fuck was that? I'm talking to myself, but I'm also kind of talking to her, but more so just to myself. Just like, what the fuck was that out there? That was so just, I don't even know the word to use. That was ridiculous. That was sloppy. That was, ugh. That's not who I want to be. No, I want to be someone. I want to be someone who takes control, who knows and has control of the situation. And you know what? I think I'm going to do that. And I sit bolt right up, and I think I cast invisibility on myself, but I don't. I'm still kind of woozy, so I think I do the spell correctly, but I don't. So I'm not invisible, but I think I am. And I want to go creep up the stairs, and I want to.
This can't go wrong.
No,
Shannon, I would like to ask you to roll for that.
Sure.
And I'm going to pick high or low, and I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
So that you can roleplay this properly.
Okay. That's fun. Okay. All right.
Roll a d20.
I rolled a 6.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you if you're invisible or not, but you think you're invisible.
Great. Great. Do I keep going? Or are you going to catch somebody else?
Just tell me what you're doing next.
All right.
And then I'll determine if I'll cut back.
Okay. I am going to, even though... So I think I'm invisible. Let me think about this for a second.
I think you're invisible. You're in a 5x5 room. There's a desk with some books on it, some papers. There's a stool there. There's a curtained door behind you that leads back to the bar. There's a set of stairs that goes up to another door ahead of you. And then to your left is a door that leads outside.
I want to creep up the stairs and put my ear to the door.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Natural 1. That is literally all I've rolled tonight. A 20 and a 1. Twice.
For
For 5 total.
It's not even like this is the thing. You don't hear anything,
Okay.
and that itself is a little bit concerning because it's not like this is a barricaded, thick door covered in things. It's like they know that they're doing private deals up there. They're probably putting some precautions in to make it quiet. You hear nothing.
Got it. Okay. All right.
So yeah, there's a door ahead of you. You think you're invisible. You don't know if you are or not. Shannon doesn't either. The only ways in are this door, the windows outside, and the balcony. And Sass is a little drunk.
Yeah.
Obviously, she
Maybe
puked up
Shannon
a
is
good
too.
portion of the
No, but
of the
she's-
liquor, but you did chug 2 beers before taking those shots.
If I poke the door, does it move?
No, it's got a handle on it. It's not like a swinging door.
Okay.
It's a full door, and you would notice even with no check there, even though you're drunk, there is like clearly like a sliding window that opens from the other side.
Yeah. Okay. I tap the handle. Is it locked?
Yes.
Okay. Well then. I'm gonna knock on the door.
Okay. A few moments later, the door opens.
And when it opens, thinking I'm invisible, I'm gonna slip in.
Actually, I lied. I just realized how I made this door. The door does not obviously open. The sliding door opens.
Okay.
You see a set of eyes staring out directly at you. As you hear a voice, a gruff voice, as the eyes squint and look like they're looking right at you. Like you might be looking past them or whatever you're looking at, but they go, "What do you want? Where's Angus? How'd you get up here?"
Refills. He sent me for refills. Does anybody need a refill? I can come in and take the empty glasses.
Refills?
On the drinks, on your drinks.
Who are you?
Food, do you need more breads and butters?
What's your name?
My name is not important. I work here. You don't need to know that. It's
I know who works here. What's your name?
I'm new.
What's your name?
My name is Green.
Deception check with disadvantage.
You should have said the green. Everybody uses just the one word.
12.
12. Okay. He looks at you and says,
You can see me?
"Miss Green, I suggest you head downstairs."
You sure you don't want any refills?
We'll send someone along if we need it.
Okay. Pleasure meeting you. You can see me, really?
Clearly.
Okay. Fuck. Okay. No. All right.
And the eyes were like the very slight facial features you could see were half orcish in nature. There was kind of this pale, swampy green skin with gold eyes. Those were really the only features you could see.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, then I'll just go back down the stairs and I'll go back out to the bar. I'll push the curtain aside. Just look very forlorn.
Hey, welcome back. And Angus hands you a beer.
Thanks.
You don't look as sick, but you look real sad.
Yeah, I I'm
Hey.
lost.
Hey,
I'm
I get
lost.
it.
I'm lost.
get it,
I'm
honey.
so fucking lost. I don't like it.
Go ahead and vent, but the next fight's about to start, so I'm not gonna be able to really hear you too much.
I like to think that, like, across from her, Jaquet is now sitting on the bar,
And he's going, oh yes, and then a strike of lightning came down and killed the wyvern, brought me back to life, and oh, Saskia, she was there too. I'm telling them about the wyvern and all the crazy things that happened. She went down, but you know, it happens to the best of us, you know.
This is like the sea hog, isn't it?
Sea hog.
The sea hog!
and at this, he, like, pushes himself up, turns around, and looks at her and goes,
Yes, the sea hog.
and he takes one look at her and goes,
I just start crying. Just right there in the bar. Just.
Well, no, it's Sea Hag. You should have seen her with some bandits. By the gods, she struck them down.
and then he realizes that that's also kind of a bit of a sore subject for her, and he's like,
But she's just fantastic with the magic she can do. You should see that one out on the battlefield.
Jaquet, it's no fucking use. It's no use. I'm a fucking nobody. Nobody cares. I'm a fucking joke. Just leave me alone.
Well, White Eye, he's quite the fighter, huh?
Yeah, you see,
And he
Jaquet, it was like for a second, there was just this beat of absolute silence in the small area around you and Sass, where all the drunkards were just like, ooh. Damn. Okay. And then you get into talking about White Eye again, and they're like, oh, yes, thank you, change the subject.
Yeah. I'll go find somewhere to stand, like, near the pit to watch and just be sad.
Yeah, and like as you walk off, like Angus, like, you know, he tries to like comfort you, and he can't follow you because he's working, but he
Right.
continues working as you go and find that spot.
seeing her walk over, Jaquet is gonna be like,
I'll be back.
And he kind of pops off and he grabs someone else's. Well, he looks and sees for a clean tanker that Angus puts down, grabs it, and then kind of goes,
Wait, Saskia.
as he comes up next to her and goes,
What the fuck was that all about? Are you okay?
No, Jaquet, no, I'm not fucking okay. No, do I look okay? My cheek fucking hurts. I think it's infected.
It's infected.
I don't know. I tried to take control of a situation and just realized that I am a fucking joke. I'm a fucking joke. I'm a nobody. I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm not in control of my life, and I just go. I'll be fine. Just
I'm
go.
sorry.
Go chill.
You're a nobody?
Yeah, I'm a fucking nobody.
You think
I'm not
a
even a-
nobody could fight the way you fought in Billowgrass? You think a nobody would stand up for those villagers? You think a nobody would come head held high, ready to do whatever it takes to erase a debt in her name? No, Saskia. I don't know what the fuck you are, but you are anything but a nobody. You were aboard the Bone Rattler under Captain Hastings until, you know, you survived a month at sea with me and him,
Jaquet says, pointing across the tavern to Fyrn.
Alright, that's not something a nobody does. You know what a nobody is?
And he points over to the table where Jack, Doran, and Ribbon are.
He goes, those are nobodies. Those are side characters in someone else's story. They are not player characters. But you and I and Fyrn, we're fucking all-stars, baby. No one travels with me and is a nobody. People work for me and are nobodies. But you don't work for me. We work together as a team. So you're not allowed to be a nobody.
Oh. That's really nice stuff you're saying.
It's not supposed to be nice. I need you in tip-top shape, okay? So don't feel down on yourself, and just remember.
Are you capable of being sincere at all? You're only saying this for your own gain. Do you actually even mean it?
He just kind of throws up his hands and goes, would I really be Jaquet Touchard if I told you?
You know what the ocean says. Fuck off.
Oh, I know what she says, all right, as he turns to walk away. She says, lick the stone, drink the water, but don't forget. And he drinks his tankard and walks away.
Just complain, worry, and bother was what you were looking for.
Yes, thank you. Okay. See, I need you, Clayton. You're the... you can finish up what I set up.
Okay. So I'm not gonna go through the roles for the second match. We'll just determine which one you're fighting at the end here.
You're just gonna let me have it, right?
No, you got one more
That's
fight.
What you, mean
you got
by
one more fight, buddy.
I don't need a roll.
You got
I
one
mean,
more
I just
fight, buddy.
assume.
All right. Let's see. We're just gonna keep it simple. Okay. So as you're watching, you can see this little sprightly elf absolutely takes down this macho drow. She hits the right pressure points as she's ducking and dodging. He never even lays a hand on her, as she basically ends the fight by finding a pressure point, grabbing his wrist, pulling it to the side, putting her hand on his neck at a pressure point, and he starts to cry like a baby and taps out completely. And the crowd claps as this elvish woman just sort of very quietly she doesn't make a big fuss out of it. She doesn't even really do anything but walk out of the cage and goes back to her spot.
While on her way out of the cage, could I just stop her for a second?
Yeah.
I step in front of her. I don't put my hand on her or anything, but I just say, I find if you want to make more money around here, become more popular, you should try, showing it up, making the fight a little bit more interesting for the crowd.
And she kind of looks at you, and as you say this, she has a very spacey look. And she kind of cocks her head a little bit and then looks at you, and she blinks very slowly. And then straightens out and says, I am not here for the crowds. Not this one, at least. And then she looks up to the mezzanine, where you can start to see people are stepping out from the curtains as they hear the final fight is coming.
Oh. I look where she's looking. Is there anybody who just appeared?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
10.
10? Okay. You see that there's about, you can count out, there's 3 people who've stepped out. It's hard, though, in the current lighting to really make out their faces at this point. There are at least 3 people who have come out with interest. They've kind of dimmed the lights and raised the lights in the ring, so it's a little hard to see their faces right now.
I was looking, so I let her pass. So she sat back down, but then I turn around and walk back to her, and I crouch down as she's sitting, kind of just being a little obnoxious, and say, "Hey, how about we make a deal? I'm interested in whoever's up there in that VIP section too. How about whoever wins tonight, if we do get a chance to talk to whoever's up there, we share information with each other. That way it's a sure win for both of us.
She cocks an eyebrow and looks up to the crowd up there, and she looks at you and says, "What are you looking for up there?"
Maybe some work, maybe a little bit of renown. It's changing this town, and I want to be a part of it.
Give me a persuasion roll with advantage for your genuineness.
Eight? I'm so bad at persuading people to do anything.
It's okay. It's okay. She looks at you and then kind of looks past you towards the ring. And says, "Let me think about it. Maybe see you fight a little bit. After the first round."
I smirk at her and just say, "You'll see more than just a little. If you agree to my terms, just buy me a drink after the fight."
And you see, like, she's been very stoic, and you kind of see a full smirk now from her, and she just gives you a very polite nod. Her long elven ears bob. She nods. Very clearly, now that you're kind of like seeing her up close, like Gwyn elf. She has kind of like a fiery red skin tone, with this very dark brown hair that has some streaks of silver in it. With these seafoam green eyes really stand out against her red skin.
Pretty cool. I give her that classic Fyrn toothy smile that you can't really tell if he's happy or trying to threaten you, and walk away.
All right, Fyrn. Round one.
Let's do it. Same rolls?
Same exact rolls. Give me athletics check.
First one's a 16.
Okay. Rolling out challenges. All right, so with a 16, you enter into the ring, and she stands there, and she's very fluid in the way that she's holding herself in the ring as you get yourself ready. You go. What's your first move? She is not going to make the first move. She's waiting for you.
I wait a few seconds before the announcer, like when the announcer says go, and then when seeing that she's waiting for me, I rush towards her for a clothesline with my shoulder.
Nice. So she, this is a very close victory on your part in this first hit. You got a 16, right?
Yes.
16. Okay, so you beat the 15 DC. So it's very close, and she gets you in the first moment of this move where she does a quick movement, but you're quick enough to see this movement, and although your first kind of like assault fails, you then kind of readjust, and she doesn't realize that you can be a little quick too. She assumes you're going to be slow, like the drow and like Odwin, but you're not. So you catch her and succeed in this first assault.
Yeah, imagine it's the arm bar is coming towards her, and she ducks under it, but I readjust a little for her height, and it just barely skims the top of her head, and she staggers back a little, taking a glancing blow.
Absolutely, and you see now she gets into a real fighting position as opposed to just sort of standing there waiting for you. So let's get that acrobatics check next.
All right. Come on. I got an 11.
This one's not going to succeed. So as you come in, maybe you get a little cocky here and thinking like maybe she's not as fast as I thought based on that last fight I watched. So you're just going to go for it. So what does it look like when you go for it?
So I see that she staggers back a little and her stance is just coming up. So I rush in for a flurry of jabs. And she's faster than I thought she would be. I go for
basically
quick,
as you go in
fast
for these
bursts, and
hell yeah. When you go in for these quick bursts, you do knock her out of her stance at first. It's like she's getting into the stance, and that first jab comes in, and she does kind of have to start staggering back to dodge them as she's kind of leaning back until there's a point when one of your jabs come in, and she just locks down your arm. And pulls you and leverages your weight to bring you down into the sand and knocks you down and then kind of lets your arm go. Give us this last roll for the Constitution roll with the D10.
Here we go. Oh, okay, so it's not that great, but it's not that bad. Let's see what the D10 roll gives me. 10, let's go. So it's 23 total.
Roll again.
No, don't, you died. Oh, fuck. Oh, okay.
Okay. DC 20.
Come on, man. DC 20, I smoked her. I got a 28. Let's go.
All right, so Fyrn, in this first round, I'm not going to say this is a clean victory, so you're going to have to fight until you get another win. Best out of 3. So it's not a knockout, but you go toe to toe for a round of this, where you're striking, she's dodging, she gets a jab in that brings you to your knees, but then you get a grab in until finally there's a point when you're just so frustrated that you just kind of watch her for a moment, take your time, and find the exact moment as she's skipping and darting towards you for a jab, and you just deck her in the face. And you see blood spurts out of her nose, and she kind of staggers back, kind of like for the first moment taking an actual brute hit as opposed to kind of glancing blows. And then the two of you size each other up and refocus for the second round. All right, let's go for it. Athletics check.
Let's do it. 21. Come on, man.
So, what does your assault look like?
Yeah, oh, you're just gonna say that. All right. I go, and since it's athletics, I'm gonna jump off to her side. Her expecting me to do an initial charge like I did the first time, and I pivot on my tail and I push off of it and try and hit her with a drop kick with both feet.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you go for this hit with the drop kick, she just drops herself to the ground, completely dodging it. And as you're flying over above her, she brings a jab right into your lower back, right where the kidneys are, and you kind of tumble to the ground, staggered, as she just sort of stands up and gets ready for your next attack. She won that one with a 23. Second round, acrobatics, or second,
rolling. 16.
16. Okay. This time you smoke her out of the water with the second one. You know, she had a 10 for this one. So what does it look like when you win this bout?
So acrobatics. She has me on the floor. I'm like in pain from that last hit. And she goes in to like basically she's standing up, so she goes to like kick me in the face, and I roll backwards, and then I get against the cage, and she's chasing me, like she's kind of like pissed off that like she missed her initial kick, and I grab her foot and I twist it, and then I crawl on top of her and just start wailing.
Absolutely. You get her pinned to the ground. You start wailing on her. This is really taking a lot out of her, but she does find a way to kind of like weasel out of it and kind of like grabs onto your arm and twists underneath it to just slip behind you and is about to go for a final attack on you in this round. Go ahead and roll your Constitution check.
Okay.
Again, this one is another DC 20.
I got a 1. I'm not even gonna roll the other one.
Okay. This is interesting.
It's a 9 plus something.
Yeah, so as she kind of gets out from underneath your arm, she then brings a jab with her palm. She gives a palm strike to the back of your neck, and you just see stars as you kind of fall to the ground and have to roll over to get up to your knees as she has won this bout. And now this last one will determine who wins the whole match.
Round 3 wouldn't be a good fight night without a third round.
Okay. So give us an athletics check.
I got a 14.
You got a 14
Yeah.
with athletics? Okay. Tell me what your assault looks like.
This time I wait for her.
Okay, excellent. I love it. So as you're waiting for her with, what was it that you got again?
A 14. I'm going for
14.
a counter strike.
14, excellent. So, very similar to the first round, except in this sort of opposite scenario. You're kind of both circling each other like wild animals now, moving about. And you see, as she notices you're not doing anything, you're waiting for her, you see she kind of immediately goes into this very quick dash action where she literally takes a few steps up on the cage to get some height on you and lunges forward for a strike. And as you grab her arm and she's going for a punch to do a counterattack, pull her down, she swings up over your arm, twists your arm up around you, landing behind you into a lock, and wins this round with a 15.
Oh, so close.
Yeah. As you did block her initial attack, but then she pulls you into her own counter attack. Give us an acrobatics check. DC 17.
Boy. Shit. Okay. 19, my friend.
Excellent. How do you get out of this arm lock and give a reverse attack?
A swift hit with the tail right to the groin.
Ooh, okay. Tail swiped up.
They never
swiped
see
up.
the tail coming.
They never see the tail coming. She immediately kind of is also swept by the tail from her legs. She falls to the ground. You get the upper hand now. Last roll. Both of you won one bout. This will determine it. DC is 15. Very doable.
Very doable. Oh yeah, 22 plus 10. Well, plus whatever I roll, which is gonna be the first one of these because I rolled 2 accidentally. 5, so it's a 27.
Excellent. How do you do this? How do you finish the fight? You have her in a lock where you can finish it however you want.
After the cheap shot, I take a round, like I wave to the crowd as she's like kneeled over in pain, and then I do the old suplex to finish it off. I just grab her, lift her up, and then drop her on the ground as I sit onto the thing. And the whole stage vibrates, the sand's going everywhere.
Oh yeah, there's a moment of silence from the crowd when you suplex her, because she gives in at this point. She taps out with that victory. But there's a moment where everyone kind of like is standing still because the whole place just kind of a little bit, and there's some weird noises of creaking wood and whatnot, and everyone waits a second, and as soon as those sounds die out, erupt into cheers as you hear things saying, the new champion of fight night, someone get this guy a belt, someone get this guy some kind of drink.
Belt
There's
of giant strength, maybe.
and just people rush the cage and start banging on it at this victory.
I once again do a round for the fans. I'm grabbing people's hands through the cage, giving high fives and stuff like that. And then I come back around and give her the same treatment where I try and, if she's not up already, I try and help her up.
No, yeah, when you come over, you can see she's in the sand and she just has like her hands on her forehead, the back of her fists on her forehead, kind of like taking in breaths to kind of get herself back composed. And as you go to reach a hand down, she like one leg lifts herself back up. Like she took a lot of beating, but she's already like kind of recovered from it, in the sense of at least like she's not like as out of it as the other ones were. But she does kind of look up to you, and she doesn't, even though she didn't take your hand to pick herself up, she does immediately grab your hand in a handshake.
Nice. I pull her in and I say, "It was a good fight. I think you owe me a drink."
And she just gives you a very stoic and slow nod, and then heads off to the bar to get you a drink.
Sweet. Yeah, I totally walk off with her. But like, I got my arms up in the air like the whole time. Like I'm just waving and looking, and I point towards what do you call it, Gloveless, who's like talking me up.
Oh
and
yeah,
I'm sure he's got like a
already
massive
at the bar,
crowd.
like hyping him up, and he's like, "That's White Eye, that's Fyrn. Yeah, he fights with me, that motherfucker." As he like gets a tankard and like almost like throws it at you.
Oh, I catch it for sure. I drink whatever, like the half of it that's left after it flew across the bar.
I will be standing against the wall, like just like watching, like smiling, like I'm excited for Fyrn, but like I don't feel the need to participate because those are somebodies and I'm a nobody.
Fyrn, do you look up at the mezzanine at all?
Oh yeah, for sure. I would probably that would be the last thing I do when I leave the stage.
Sass,
like,
are you
turn around
looking
and I
up
look
there
up
at
to
all?
it.
Or are you too distracted?
I think I would be like, smiling and looking at Fyrn, and then like, I'm kind of numb now. The paranoia has died down, but I would still like just quickly.
Okay.
Fyrn would
Both
not
of
be
you-
looking quickly. He would be staring.
Yeah. Both of you give me perception checks.
18.
8.
Okay. So, Fyrn,
I'm only good at wrestling, guys. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Fyrn, it's probably a mixture of the excitement and the it's really not even your inability to see and your lack of perception. It's the sheer amount of people coming up to you that pulls you away from being able to see it. Like every time you try to get a glance, someone's like screams in your face basically, or grabs your arm and pulls you, hands you a shot. Like people are all over you. So that's it's not your inability to scope things out. It's purely because people will not let you physically. Sass, on the other hand, with an 18, will see quite clearly. Where there were 3 before when he looked up, there are 5 now. 2 that you recognize. One is clearly who you surmised was up there. Lasha Roxera, the half-orc foremaster that you knew, the spiritual sort of the real sea witch of the Bone Rattler.
Oh, that hurts.
I realized as soon as I said that, I was like, oh, Sass already is having some struggles here with her you know her as that stoic, spiritual. You were never quite sure what her class, we'll say, was. She seemed like a cleric of sorts. She also may have been a sorcerer. It was never really made apparent to you. She was very kind, though, when you did know her. Like, she wasn't someone you were afraid of. She wasn't someone you were particularly like buddy with. She was kind of just like a very neutral, calm presence actually on the ship. And you had only worked with her a few times because you were usually working directly with the bosun at that time. So you notice her, and her eyes are directly on Fyrn. But much like you're used to with her from your past, when you sailed with her, it's almost impossible to read her face. Like she's nearly immune to insight checks, just with like the type of face she gives, which for some makes them uncomfortable, for some it makes them calm. It's that neutral of an expression. The other person you notice is Kellen, Pallid Dragonborn.
Huh. Interesting.
You see no sign of Alina, though.
Okay. Who are the other people up there?
So there are 3 folks you don't recognize.
Yeah. What do they look like?
So you would see there is a Actually, let me actually look up descriptions of what this person would actually look like instead of trying to remember it. Where? It's within my. One person would.
If you want to give me descriptions later, that's totally fine.
I might give you descriptions later, just because I don't
fine.
have it right on top, but I can give you exactly what the 3 look like later.
Totally fine.
But you don't recognize any of them. They're definitely movers and shakers you've never seen before.
Okay.
Please share with the class when you do.
Yeah. But the 2 that stand out, obviously, are those 2 that you recognize. Is there anything specific you would like to do with that information at this time, or are you just going to kind of keep quiet?
Yeah, I'll just note it.
Okay. Fyrn. What are you doing in the immediate aftermath of this?
I believe that most of it is going to be fighting my way towards Jaquet. But before I do that, I am going to try and see, like, I know the bookie's doing his announcement and stuff like that, but I'm going to walk up to like where the bookie is to try and like do a little bit more showboating.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to talk to the bookie, but also like, he's wrapping up the festivities, he's got to hold my arm up in the air, that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like there is a point when like you are moving your way kind of between Jaquet and the bookie, where the bookie does kind of like come down. And you can see now he's sobered up a little bit. It seems like Jaquet up, doing some upmanship, like really upstaging, really got him like, okay, I gotta get my shit together. So he's a little bit more sober, and he comes down, and he doesn't like it's like somewhat unceremonious as he comes down and kind of fights through the crowd, and you can see like he's kind of a short man, and immediately like, kind of like slowly like lifts your arm up into the air, and goes, "You sought here, White Eye, the mountain himself, the horned devil, the new champion of the Otter Business. Buy him all the drinks tonight. Show him a hero's welcome." As he shoves a sack of silver into your hands.
Nice. I look down at him and I say, "Good show tonight."
And he kind of looks up at you and like with his like kind of bloodshot, sobering up eyes and kind of like a little clammy. He's just sort of like, you need to keep coming around, lad. And he kind of eyes up to the mezzanine now, like not saying anything but implying what you had asked him about earlier.
I give him a nod and say, "You'll see me every Wednesday."
If you whenever you open and count the silver, you will find that you have 60 silver in there.
Nice.
Yeah, because of Jaquet's upsmanship, the betting reached one of the maximum
You're
pool
welcome.
thresholds. So the amount you got out of the bets, you would have won 20 silver no matter what for beating everyone, but you got 40 silver out of your percentage of the bets.
Dope. He will not be getting a share.
But once that all happens, I mean, you can connect with Jaquet real quick there and talk to him.
Yeah. Can I actually? What is the bookie? What does he use? Does he just yell at the crowd, or does he have like some sort of mechanism?
So he actually normally actually does have a mechanism, but tonight he has been kind of using his own voice. When he stays up at the podium, he does have kind of like a pseudo speaker mechanism that he uses, but definitely no like microphone coming down from the ceiling that he uses.
Okay,
At least not yet.
I didn't think so, but it's worth keeping in mind about. I'm not going to do anything with that information. I'll just go over to Jaquet.
Okay.
Hey, man. How'd you like the show?
Fyrn, my friend, good work out there. I never had a doubt. I wish I had put some money on there, but I'm just trying to avoid any unwanted attention, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, really, I mean, the entire bar at this point is betting on me. You'd think some of my friends would throw some money down.
Well, I think I did enough work over here to ensure that silver was getting thrown your way, don't you think? Did you hear me?
No.
Oh. Well, I was doing a lot of work, wasn't I, guys? He kind of says to the crowd that's around the bar and around Fyrn.
And you see there's like these same two like old guys who were always next to Jaquet the whole time, who at first were just like these wrinkly old raisins that were just sort of like trying to have a drink on a hamel. Are now kind of like the most raucous. And like they're not the only people, they're just like the most noticeable people who seem like they're just not leaving Jaquet's side, even no matter how much he wants them to.
All right, guys, he says over the heads of these two old.
That's right. Weren't I? We didn't believe in. We were just here for drinks. We weren't even going to bet. What? 5 silver off of you.
My pleasure. I want a hefty sum too. You all enjoy yourselves tonight.
Oh, we will. You see those two kind of pull off together and immediately order shots.
So a hefty sum, huh? Jaquet says, still seated on the bar. Any for your friend, for your unwavering supporter, your call man?
Tell
You're
me
hype.
something. Tell me something, Jaquet. How much do you think that giant crystal was worth?
Well, I don't know. It depends on who you ask. I'm sure people in here would say 5 copper, maybe. You know, the Academy's sigil. You know, I don't know. Maybe a couple. A lot more than that.
Right. How about we wait until we get a good estimate before we start talking about money?
Okay, well, wait a minute. You didn't even want to sell it. You wanted to get rid of it anyways. So
Tonight's
better free
First
the
round's
spirit
on me,
and save me.
everybody! And I start giving away, I throw a bunch of silver at the bartender, and I was like, let's go, it's time to party!
Okay, you're just gonna throw like a handful.
Yeah, you know, whoever's at the bar, sort of. I'm not buying the entire place a
Oh yeah,
drink.
yeah. We'll say. If you want, just roll me 3d6.
It's 3 silver he throws.
He just gives it to those old men.
And a tip for Angus.
12.
Okay, you throw 12 silver out to get drinks for 12 people at the bar.
Sounds fair. I'm getting my drinks paid for all night, so that seems about right.
Yeah. And the people just start to crowd around you. Sass, what are you doing during this time? And Jaquet, what are you doing during this time?
I think I would have, like seeing my two friends over there, I would have, started to walk over, but then, seeing the, they're so comfortable in this environment and they're so like in the moment and spinning these tales and swapping coins that I would start to walk over, but then I would just find an empty seat and just kind of watch from afar.
I think
Okay.
there would
At a
be a
table.
moment there where Fyrn would actually like notice her as she turns away. Like didn't lock eyes with her, but like noticed her presence, and then it sees that she like disappears, and like it kind of harshes his vibe a little bit, but
Sorry.
it's okay. He's at this point, it feels a little bit more like a job for Fyrn at this point, like it's sort of the same. He kind of feels the same way. Like maybe like later on in the night he'll tell Jaquet about this, but after the fighting is done, the actual combat is what he strives for, and the celebrations afterwards are just social. It's meant to keep your own reputation strong, and it builds power through reputation and social status. It's not meant to. It's more like it feels like training to him. It doesn't feel like the reward.
Yeah. Jaquet, what are you doing right now? Have a moment.
So after Fyrn denies him his rightfully earned silver, Jaquet, not too begrudgingly, but as like folks start to come around with Fyrn doing it, Jaquet's like, my work here is done. As he kind of slips off the bar, goes to grab another beer, thinks better of it, sees Sass over there sitting, and he's like, shut that, nah. And he's going to walk out of the Otter Business.
Okay. As you do so, you walk off. Where are you heading?
So at this point, Jaquet is going to, well, really, he kind of has to run back to the Cask and Crow. So he runs back there, and he's gonna put on a disguise. He's gonna, after getting back his equipment, all his stuff from the safe box, he's gonna put on a heavy trench coat, mix up a bit of a disguise, removing all the jewelry, all the adornments on himself, and putting aside his rapier, shifting his crossbow holster to his back, and putting on his side the sword of one Captain Otto Hastings that Jaquet kept.
Excellent.
He is going to assume a disguise for one he calls LaRue. And then he's going to sneak out from the balcony. He's not going to go back out the main door.
Lovely.
Leaving the lights on, locking up though to make it seem like he's still in there. Checking that the coast is clear, descending, and then making his way back more covertly to Crass Alley.
Mm-hmm.
Heading towards that alleyway he knows.
Absolutely. Fyrn and Sass, you can come on and stay on for this. I might jump
Cool.
back briefly to you guys for not a full scene, but just a prompt.
Sure.
Jaquet, as you walk through the quiet streets, give me a stealth roll. The general one. It's just gonna determine the general sneakiness of all of it.
Sure, that's 27.
Exactly. That's what actually, you know what's funny? Is in my head, like before you said that, I said he's gonna roll a 27.
Here we are.
Here we
Guess
are.
you have that prophetic rune.
You slip out into the night in the skin of LaRue. Through the streets, through the alleys, even through some of the tighter alleys that don't have names, just slipping between buildings, around where the trash is kept, storage and whatnot. LaRue doesn't mind getting dirty. You find your way to Crass Alley, and the night is quiet. There's only two sounds that echo as you find the alleyway with the thieves' cant that says illicit goods here. The cheers, intermittent, from the Otter Business just a block down, and a loud of a butcher's knife on a block. You slip into this alley. Another round of cheers. Inside the Otter Business, Fyrn, you're sitting at a table and people are kind of taking turns coming and spending time with you. Sass, you watch from the corner. Minglings of jealousy, anxiety, insecurity. Small voice peeks into the back of your mind, crawling up the back of your neck, like the tentacles of a cephalopod. As you just hear a whisper in your mind. Give it time. You don't need to fear anything while I'm here. And as you hear this, you look. It's almost like that soothing voice for a moment. So your mind calmed you, and then you notice at the same time Fyrn notices. The person sitting across from you, Fyrn, gets up laughing as they kind of give you that last cheers of their drink, as you're kind of getting tired of the people now. And the person who replaced them has no drink in their hands. Takes their hood off. A half-orc woman sits across from you. Black coal makeup. Small tusks. As Lasha sits across from you. Cheers. As people drop more drinks down in front of you. Her. Back outside, Jaquet. The cheers grow quieter as you walk into the deeper parts of this alley within an alley within an alley. You get to an opened area where you can see there's this wrought iron fence that separates Crass Alley from the Lighthouse District. You can see beyond that high wrought iron fence. It's kind of like a brick wall, and on top of it is wrought iron. You can see some of the rooftops of the ruined neighborhood you were crawling around in several weeks ago to acquire this sword. And you hear again. You follow the thieves' camp. You see across this very small courtyard, in the back of a brick building, is sort of a garage with an open door, double doors, that leads into basically a butcher shop. And you see a sign above that has thieves' cant scribbled all over it like knife marks, but there's a real name of this shop there. This is the De Leon Brothers Butchers Lock and Tackle. Fine meats, exotic fish, and supply. Inside, there's a very low torch lighting the space, and you can see more so the light of a cigar inhale as the smoke comes out, and you can see a Leonin figure there. Heavily scarred, wearing a butcher's apron. Much of his mane is gone from these scars as he shifts this cigar to the other side of his mouth and drops the butcher knife down, cutting up one of the sharks from earlier. As you see him. I think that's where we'll end tonight. So, a couple episodes of ruffian-esque adventures of the chaotic trio. Certainly made some ripples in this space of Hyven to ebb and flow against the ripples you've already created in Hyven. But now we are going to send a raid on over and end for tonight. Please join us for other programming in Paradise. I'm going to try to do a stream this week. Clay had a really awesome idea during the break of making the Otter Business in Valheim, which just sounds cool. So that might be something we end up doing. And of course, the Sean and Shannon Power Hour this Sunday to recap this episode. We're going to be off next Monday for Adrift in Aldhalor, but we'll hopefully have other programming that week. We're thinking of having the Sean and Shannon Power Hour again, but asking if anyone wants to join us to talk a little bit about where we are so far in the campaign. So that could be interesting. So keep an eye on socials for all of that. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We are gonna send a raid on over to we'll do Queen's Court Games, one of our usuals. So send them our love from Paradise. Hope you enjoyed tonight. I hope you enjoy it wherever you are in the world, and have a lovely evening running this Paradise. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.